The incident at Bash at the Beach 2000 is one in which every participant has their own version of what actually took place that night.
Eric represented everything I despise in the wrestling business. And bro, I'll tell you, you're never gonna outwork me because I'm better than you.
And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass!
Listen to Nitro Review, 90 minutes long, no breaks. Hello and welcome to OSW Review, the old school wrestling video podcast filmed in glorious grapple vision and encoded with blast processing. We chronologically critique wrestling storylines, pay-per-view by pay-per-view. What have we got? Who is that talking? It's that goddamn politician, Jay Hunter, the holder of the OSC Memorial Belt, Mr. OSC.
I do.
And you big bald son of a bitch, V1.
That's the crack.
Who has a lovely head of hair. It's Bash at the Beach 2000 and it's coming up right now. Welcome, Noggers. Happy days are here again. Hey, how's it going, V1?
Not too bad.
What is the crack?
The crack is 90.
Excellent, and that is the question and response to that. Lovely. OSC, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
You know what you don't have in your life? Enough naked men.
Oh, you got a new one.
This week's winner, the Most Naked Man Award, it is Minoru Suzuki as a special train conductor in TJBW's Bullet Train match.
Wow. That's amazing. Certainly bullet going on. Was this an intentional, I'm pretending I'm naked man? Or is this actual, no, this is just what I'm wearing.
I'll give you the front view. There we go. So this is how he dressed. He's more clothed than normal, to be honest.
He has no knee pads, a hat, like a very noticeable hat. Has he got booties? Booties would make him even more naked.
He does have the booties, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ankle length.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, he's a winner.
Thank you for everyone sending me pictures of naked men this week. I think that's what I enjoy about OSW. All of our gimmicks are inappropriate and shouldn't work. Like, we're always talking about getting boys, cornering them in a stable. Naked men. Always bringing up the Nogger ice cream bar, which is the worst name for a bar. WCW Bash at the Beach 2000 is the winner of our fan-voted poll. Over 600 suggestions by our Nogger U bras, whittled down to a top 10 for everyone to vote. You can see them on the screen now.
Number one, obviously, Bash at the Beach 2000 with 21.1% of the vote. So a pretty big, like not a landslide, but
a mudslide.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was happy to cover this. It wasn't my favourite, but it was probably second on the list for what I wanted to win.
Okay. Some great suggestions were not eligible as they'd be considered as part of an arc down the line. Bash at the Beach 2000 was the clear winner, so without further hot dogging, let's get you up to speed.
Welcome to WCW Backstage Assault.
Well, we are back in WCW 2000s. This is a sprite 2 months after our Arquette arc. Ready to Rumble, Arquette winning the belt in April, and Slamboree 2000 in May. The crib notes is that WCW was on fire in 1997, 1998, but thanks to screwy finishes, poor booking decisions, not building new stars and running the NWO into the ground, the arse fell out of WCW in April 99. What I mean by that, instead of making 45 million profit, they were losing 15 million in 99, which would only get worse. Bischoff got the blame, and in October 99, their accountant Bill Bush hoofs Bischoff out, and Russo and his mate Ed Ferrara in, because they took credit for WWF's boom in 99. What can you guys do with WCW? Can you make like car swerve noises?
What's that? That's not a car. Oh, you don't mean like tire screeching?
Oh yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, so Russo's gonna Russo. So you get lots of car crash booking, lots of swerves, lots of turns. And 3 months later, WCW are like, we've had enough. Either get demoted to part of the booking team or you're out. okay, you're out. And you're replaced by Kevin Sullivan and Terry Taylor in January. It's still terrible, so in April, bring back Russo and Bischoff together in hopes that they can keep each other in check.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So, how do we show it on TV? Reboot Nitro. Russo and Bischoff show their allegiance and cancel all of the titles. We're gonna make everyone compete for them again.
Why did the titles make dodgy fucking tweets or something like that?
Hey! Nice. Spring Stampede, this new faction, the new blood, clean sweep for all the titles. And then they're like, why isn't the needle moving in WCW? So what can turn our fortunes around? David Arquette. Let's boost our profile in Hollywood with Ready to Rumble, a movie about insulting wrestling fans. It's not hitting well with wrestling fans. And they just went to Arquette. I know you don't want it, but please give us some of your star power and boost our profile. Take the belts. And Arquette's a massive wrestling fan. He doesn't want to hurt wrestling, and he knows him getting it will hurt wrestling. But if I can help out WCW, I will. You know, I wanted people to think better of Arquette because that's how he approached it. And like you can see, he's still in wrestling. He still pops up. He still does indie wrestling matches like this one.
What's Arquette thinking? Oh, he dives! Oh my God, he crowned him!
So yeah, this is 2 months on from the Arquette arc. Anyway, that brings us to tonight.
WCW and Masterlock welcome you to the summertime tradition for World Championship Wrestling.
Oh hey, which versions are we watching? V1. Eternally Suffering. You are watching I'm
watching the live version, so recorded from the actual live pay-per-view feed. Quite possibly the worst visual thing I've watched in about 10 years. It was horrific.
Since the satellite feed.
Oh, so bad. 2 hours 52.
Okay. Myself, I'm watching the home video VHS release, which 2 hours 51. And OOC, sir, the 2014 network launch version with upgraded audio thanks to Olade99, who redubs back in the music WWE are too cheap to pay for, which is mostly DDP, Jeff Jarrett, and Goldberg's theme.
He was calculating, but he told us he was more intense. Here he comes. We've often said, can any one man stop Goldberg?
But what we're editing with is the final 1080p version on the WWE Network from 2024. We would have said Netflix version, but at the time of recording, there's no WCW on Netflix.
Nope.
Boo!
Yeah, because Peacock still have all the pay-per-views in the US, I believe until the end of 2025. And then what happens then? We don't know. I personally think that where it's going to end up is on a paid version of the WWE Vault page.
Like they're just going to charge you $5 to watch the old Smack 'em Whack 'em.
Like here, like here is all the free stuff and the dark matches and the documentaries you can watch for free. Give us a $5 and we'll unlock actual WCW and ECW and all that stuff. And I'll give them a $5 a month for it.
But Steve, live version includes an extra half-hour pay-per-view countdown.
Because why would you expect anything fucking else?
Come on, Steve.
It is the Bash at the Beach 2000 pre-show.
Yes!
Hosted by our boy, Jeremy Borash.
Ooh.
Look at him there.
Yeah, ears perked up.
Go on, Steve.
In his funky shirt. All right, they open with clips of a battle royal from Nitro on Monday, which ends with Goldberg coming face-to-face with Kevin Nash, climbing out between the middle and the top rope, and that ends the match because it's a fucking disaster. And we're on to a Jarrett interview. He chats to Scott Hudson. Jeff says he's beaten everyone one by one. The New Blood are better than the Millionaires Club. And then he's asked, if you beat Hogan, does that not make you a millionaire? And then Jarrett's like, what a stupid question. It's not about how much money you have. I'm obviously a millionaire. Because it's more about your place on the pecking order and a new breed taking over from these old guys.
The Millionaires Club, it has nothing to do with the hip pocket. It has to do with state of the mind and what comes from the heart. I go out in the ring and produce day in and day out. End of interview.
We get Mean Gene interviewing Shane Douglas. He says that when they were in a tag team, he carried Buff, and it was Buff who dropped the ball and caused them their tag team titles. He says that he has no problem going for Buff's neck tonight. A good interview, may I say. Career highlight for Shane Douglas.
Wow.
Well, a career highlight.
The career highlight.
Let's see, a part of the neck. You've been hurt before, Buff. I've got no problem sending you out with another injury that way. This has gotten real personal, Gene, because I've been left high and dry here in WCW. And you know what? I think it downright stinks.
Mean Gene, earning his money tonight, interviews Booker T. He puts over DDP as a great guy and a great wrestler, and then says he's going to put a whooping on Kanyon tonight, who made his return at the Great American Bash last month, because that was set a month after he took the fall from the triple cage. So he came out like Linda, all, zombified on a wheelchair. And as DDP was going to win the ambulance match, he came back to life, baby! And he cost him the match. And so he's now feuding with him. Booker T calls Kanyon a mark for himself, which is weird, and a cheap imitation of DDP. This is very much, like a WCW trope where they really try to... The internet's got all of the scoops, brother,
I get you.
Mean Gene back again. He talks to Jarrett. 2 interviews in 30 minutes from Jeff Jarrett, for God's sake. God. He says Hogan isn't around backstage yet.
With the alpha male of Monty Brown not available now. The alpha male, he is I. I am him. The alpha male is what I am. Sorry.
He calls Hogan a coward and says that he doesn't think he's going to show up. And even if he does, I'm going to retire Hulkamania tonight.
Chosen one is going to retire Terry Bollea, Hollywood, Hulkster, or whoever in the hell he calls himself today.
Then they show clips of Jeff Jarrett defeating the Horace Hogan, Mr. 1998 himself, on Thunder. He got a world title shot on Thunder.
Yes.
2 years later.
Yeah. Top of the card, baby. Yeah. Then JB goes into a final hard sell of the pay-per-view, and he says, if you've never ordered a pay-per-view before from World Championship Wrestling, this is the pay-per-view to order if you were ever going to order any show ever. And I was like, how right you are, Jeremy. Holy shit.
You will never see a pay-per-view like this again.
Never, ever again. And Steve, that brings us to the end of the 30 minutes.
That wasn't bad.
I told you.
Yes.
Yeah, lever. Let it down, mate.
He takes on board criticism and works with that. And I like that.
Here we go.
Well done, Steve.
Here we go.
What a lovely backhanded blade of a compliment.
Now, can you feel where I'm coming from? Can you smell what I'm cooking? If you can, just come on with it and come on and get it. Because booyah! And I'm going to get with you.
Pay-per-view start. Cold open. Commissioner Ernie the Cat Miller. Rebel, rebel, rebel. Filthy animals. Rebel, rebel. Bwong. Literal pan flute music. And can we get a wah? Wah! And the cat gets accosted by ninjas. Choreographed nutshots. Can you give us a...
Ew.
Nothing but ninja. Yeah. We'll get to it. Well, let's just power through. It ain't no picnic. It's WCW Bash at the Beach, July 9, 2000, from the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, Florida, with attendance of a looked fine on telly 6,572. Then you hear that includes how many comps?
3,000.
Oh, actually not too bad. Only 2,000 comps.
Only?
So 4,400 paid.
So 1/3 of the entire fandom at that show didn't give them a penny. That's going to hurt their gate.
It is, but I think, obviously it turns out it didn't matter in the end, but what's more important is that they look successful rather than what they have in their gate.
Yes, it's like the 97 Rumble, where they have the Alamo Dome, and it's just like the well-wishers, the family members, the nephews and nieces in the crowd.
It's all just out of work Mexican wrestlers trying to get into the Rumble match itself. Latin lover, you know?
Yes, please.
That's a Latin lover.
Pay-per-view spoots. Pew, 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 pew. Oh, it's just like the low-cost PowerPoint intro, that bog standard bare Nitro set. It's like, man, the fun ride is over. The money train has departed the station. Have a quick look. Compare the stage setup of Bash at the Beach 96, 97, 98, 99, and tonight in 2000.
Well, I mean, throw a bit of sand on the floor. Sand isn't expensive, right?
Litter.
96?
There's sand. All they have is sand and a small TV.
And like the actual set is nothing special, but they've got flags and a beach ball.
The beach ball, that's air. Air is free.
Unless you're in Spaceballs. 97?
Sand?
Yeah.
No, Sans beach balls.
Oh.
Yeah, we're pairing back.
Oh, there's a
You
little
do
one
have
here.
trees.
Oh, he's got one. Have you got it?
Yeah, there's one here.
There's a little beach ball, Steve.
Okay.
And you got more trees now, yeah?
And a lay.
1998?
Ooh.
Again, sand and wood. And a small television.
Yeah, I like the lifeguard.
The lifeguard's
Yeah.
a chair, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a
More sand. That's a lot of sand.
And clearly
couple of buckets there.
drug addict has gotten onto the beach.
It's realism.
Yeah.
99.
That's class. I mean, it's
gotten a little bit sadder, I think.
Yeah, okay, but it's, what's the word? Clean lines. You like clean lines, right?
Yeah. There's just the front view of it.
Oh, that's quite nice, actually.
The decking. You like the decking?
I like the green colour, actually.
Yeah, so do I. I'm it's kind of under the sea, but also by the sea.
Yeah, where there'll be no hesitations.
No accusations.
Just
friendly crustaceans. Under the sea. And now we get to 2000.
Yeah, this screams
It
beach,
just looks
doesn't it?
like Nitro or Thunder.
Yeah, but you can see it says quite clearly, Steve, beach twice on the set. Therefore, we're at the beach.
We're at the beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's so sad. It's like even
I love how you put Vito in there to make it the saddest it possibly could. That was a choice, wasn't it?
listen, there's no happiness to be had.
Where's his dress?
That's the most pathetic still of the 2 hours, 50 minutes.
Commentary tonight is by the voice of WCW, the inimitable, the unreplaceable Tony Schiavone, Mark Madden, the Jerry Lawler of WCW, and Scott Hudson, voice of WCW Nitro Blast Explosives, who run down the card and introduce us to our first matchup. It's Chavo versus Juvi, aka MIA's Lieutenant Loco and Filthy Animals Juventud Guerrera. The Filthy Animals, Juvi, Disco, Arm Wanker Conan. He had a torn triceps. He asked, a couple of months ago, he asked for his release, and okay, I'll just suspend you for 3 months for asking. But when he came back, you can reform the Filthy Animals, which was hopefully to keep him happy, which included heel maskless Rey Mysterio.
It's so weird. It's such a strange choice.
He was maskless for a long time.
Years, yeah.
Super Brawl 9 in 1999. Mysterio and Conan lost a hair versus mask tag match versus the Outsiders. Hugely insulting, losing it against not another masked luchador in a flip and throwaway match. And right after the match, Ray rang his uncle as soon as he could just to tell him the news because, you know, that's a big deal down in Mexico. Same thing happened to Juvi and Psychosis. They both lost their masks in WCW. However, Ray did move up the card, becoming a sort of giant killer, wrestling and defeating bigger opponents like Nash, Bammer, and Scott Norton, and would wrestle Ric Flair for the world title. But him being an arrogant heel just didn't stick. And then WWE just sandbagged this entire maskless era of Rey Mysterio, and he debuted under the mask in 2002 and never looked back.
This is an indictment of his face. He needs the mask. I think Juvi looks better without it. Also, I quite liked the little horny Mysterio. It was a shame we didn't have that in this paper.
Imagine what Jerry Lawler would do with that.
It becomes their property, right? Hasn't Juventud Guerrera had the Juicerweight title long enough for you?
Misfits in action. What are they good for? Absolutely nothing. Yeah. Gimmick. Oh, the Misfits in action. A group of wrestlers that Vince Russo considered too lazy to get over. In April, Bischoff had kayfabe fired these lads, and this is them returning under a new gimmick. Here's the reason we all have a new gimmick. It was supposed to be like DX with their military setup, you know, with the Jeep and the bin and the tank or whatever.
The hot bin.
Yeah. Because it's not a fucking tank. It's not close. Yeah, you can make Hugh Morris into a joke. That's grand. You know, you can make...
Please do.
Private Stash into a joke. Not Booker T. G.I. Bro. It was like, that's funny for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And to make it worse, right? So obviously we know what happens in the main event of this show, right? 4 weeks ago at the Great American Bash, he was still G.I. Bro. 4 fucking weeks ago.
But was he loosely affiliated with the group?
He was affiliated with them, but he was, you know, like a mid-carder.
Do you remember who he was wrestling?
Oh, he wrestled a boot camp match against Sean Stasiak. Which he did win.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
You know? But like, you know, so a boot camp match was the Mrs. version.
You have to smell each other's boots. Who could last without longest without choking?
It was a last man standing match, basically.
Okay.
It was fine.
MIA members present Hugh G. Rection. Yeah.
He's 9:05.
Loved it. Chav Guerrero, who's wrestling.
All right.
Major Stash, Van Hammer, and Major Wabos in stilettos. And I was like, what kind of bump are you taking in those? Well, no, she actually needed help getting off the apron. So
oh my God.
That's you done. So it's Chavo versus the Juice. OSC's favourite inverted atomic drop. Then a regular atomic drop. A clothesline out and stop wrestling. I was just, come on, Hoovy, do the, get out of here. Wave it away. We needed it. Quarter 10 spot by the Juice. Celebratory wiggle and a pump dick to the face.
The Austinary special.
But it's to another male, so he does not get cancelled. By the way, difference between the VHS and network rip.
Oh my fucking God. There's actual dirt in my eye watching it. It's so bad.
And it's not even just the fidelity, but like the colours.
Colour contrast and
Because like it goes from grey to, the mat is blue.
Yeah.
Chavo spanks Hoovy on the bum and follow up with a dub spot double clothesline. Made famous by one OC and Rowe. Big splash on the outside and WCW 2000 rears its head. Filthy animals are back. Hoovy hits a tornado leg drop to the outside. Nice. You know it, Juicy.
That is Rey Mysterio. Yeah, you know it, Juicy. You know it, baby.
Balance splash from the middle of the top rope. Running powerbomb. And front. Oh, not great. And the Juice with the Pepe's elbow. And you're just like, okay, you're doing the Rock shtick and calling yourself the Juice. Are you getting heat from the Rock? Splicey.
You think you impress the Rock? Why? Because a couple of months ago, you were down south beating some jabroni named Hooventude?
Hey, what's up? Bill Clinton reaction out. Major Guns comes out, does a Hulkamania impression, which absolutely would work. Yep, no problem with that. Thank you very much.
No qualms there.
Yep.
Chavo slams Hoovy flat back down on the apron and follows up with a tornado DDT, and that seals it.
The Cruiserweight title match. Tornado DDT. No. Yes. What a matchup.
Chavo retains and celebrates with Major Guns. And it was like, hand Chavo. No, it's fine. Good stuff.
Man, these are two good wrestlers. And when they're let wrestle, they actually do good wrestling. But like, it's so sad to see, even in the opening match, WCW booking bollocks rears its head. At least let the luchadors go out and lucha, please.
Yeah, fine opener. First of many matches where I'm like, I was enjoying that. And then WCW rears its head.
I would have said it was a poor opener considering what WCW pay-per-view openers can be. Yeah, I'd say two fine wrestlers, but yeah, they didn't really do much. The one thing I did like... The Misfits in action, they wear the camouflage gear. Yeah. So at least I know that they're all in one stable. Because if you would just put random wrestlers up without any context, I wouldn't know if they were in the Filthy Animals or the MIA.
So strong branding.
Strong branding. I don't understand why they came out with masks though. Didn't get that bit, but okay.
Well, it's a business expense, yeah. I was thinking, because nobody knows, nobody cares about them, so when they go on strike, they kind of shout, "Misfits in action!" or "Misfits! Misfits!" When they punch, so it makes you think, makes you remember.
To get themselves over.
Yeah, so you remember who they are.
Get them over. If like they said one of 3 words, misfits in or action while they did a move.
Who's the guy who just goes, in? He's fucked.
Backstage, Japanese lads don't like to job. And WCW champion Jeff Jarrett Hogan, where is he? I want him. The storyline being Hulk hasn't shown up yet and they're wrestling tonight. Also, here's a fat lady who sings. Fat lady who sings. You get it? Anyway, they literally reenact the same scene with the same beef later on in the night. Like, literally the same thing. With the new punchline being that the Young Dragons beat up the cat. I was like, of course they would. The Japanese, they're very good at Pearl Harboring. Terrible. Okay, it's cut. It's out.
It's too obvious. It was way too obvious.
We actually haven't done the Pearl Harbor joke in ages.
Yeah. We'll let that one in.
Yeah.
Put in canned laughter for that one. Now, come here. Golf clap. The cat. I just feel like he is the featured performer in 2000 WCW.
It's the exact same thing. He's all over Great American Bash, Nitro, and this.
I mean, of all the talent they have on their roster, and all the overpaid aging stars or overpaid young stars, they're hitching their wagon to this guy.
Okay, obviously he came in because it was like, aren't you Eric Bischoff's karate instructor? No, you're Garrett Bischoff's karate instructor.
Yes.
Child Garrett Bischoff.
Yes. But only the leader of Team Bischoff in Lethal Lockdown. So yeah. Ken Anderson and RVD, they report to me.
Still bitter about this 15 years later.
But yeah, that's how he was like Eric Bischoff's lackey, and then, oh, you're doing a good job. Here, you can be commissioner, and oh, you're doing a good job.
That's completely subjective, whether he was doing a good job or not. Ask people.
But like, he's a decent promo. He's charismatic. He's good. But he's not a star.
No.
So why are we hyper featuring the fucking cat? He's hyper featured.
This is like the $1 Million Corporation in '95. Yeah. Like, we have gaps that need filling. Yeah. Get on out there,
fuck
Nikolai.
The cat. Fuck the cat. Yeah.
The back of the head. Go walking on a. You're on a horse. Go by. Shoot him. Match number 2 for the hardcore title. It's a 2-on-1 handicap bout. Big Vito is the champion versus Norman Smiley and Ralphus. WCW's hardcore division. When did it start, you ask? No one's asking, but I'm telling you anyway. Well, WWF had one in 98, and look what it did for Thurman's Sparky Plug. So let's have our own. Thurman, he's a race car driver. The lads in WCW inaugurate their hardcore title with an actual junkyard match. Bash at the Beach 1 year ago. Scoff now, but it featured Lord Steven Regal.
Oh, Dave Taylor. Whoa.
Yes, Dave Taylor.
Fit Finlay.
Yes.
No. Jay, this is just my boy saying with you, but please tell me that there's an bit of the do. We have a new entrant. So actually, this is someone that I forgot to bring up last time out. The man, the myth, the legend, Jimmy Del Rey, of course, is in the V1 Boy stable.
It's about time.
We just have to put it out there. Him, Daddy Magic, and the trifecta of the Irish-English triumvirate.
And V1, of course. This junkyard match, they splashed out for a helicopter for aerial shots.
Nice.
And you have to escape the junkyard to win. And in it, they crushed a car.
Whoa.
And then they set another car on fire and exploded the McMahon limousine.
This sounds like a WBW production, doesn't it?
And Finlay won.
Oh.
There it is! Fit Finlay gets out! Fit Finlay gets the trophy!
Current hardcore champion Big Vito, not the Nucci, sadly, or not sadly, happily.
Perry Saturn looking for him.
But of the FBI. He clocks Terry with the hardcore belt. This is in a recap. Right in the fucking neck. Thanks, mate. Maybe it's his payback for his past and future teammate Johnny the Bull, who got injured versus Terry Funk, actually ruptured his pelvis in the middle of the match.
Oh my God, I watched that match. So, on the Great American Bash, Vito was the hardcore champion. Johnny the Bull got pinned because Vito was like, "Whoa, look at me and my belt," and his tag team partner got pinned. And they were building up to partner versus partner at this show, and they wanted to give Johnny the Bull a big win. Johnny the Bull, he was wrestling Funker, and he got it into his head that he wanted to do a running leap onto the ropes and a springboard leg drop to the outside, and landed so hard that he tore his urethra. And you could see he was in enormous pain. He could barely stand. He could barely do anything. And of course, he is out injured.
He was like, Terry Funk, Terry, will you pin me? And I was like, but you're supposed to win this, and you're getting a great reaction. Let's keep wrestling. And I was like, oh no, that's terrible. But he will be back in 2 months' time.
By the way, may I ask, what country is Vito representing here?
I know what you're going to say.
Well, I don't. Oh, well, he's supposed to represent Italy.
No, well, he's not. So I'm just wondering what he is. So I was like, oh, it's Hungary. It's not. Maybe it's Bulgaria. It's not. So I'd like if anyone knows what country Vito's representing here. His flag is horizontal, and it is green, white, and red.
Is that like the flag of Iran or something like that?
Could be. I'd just be interested to see if anyone knows the flag.
Yeah, let us know in the comments section.
His gear looks awful, though.
It does.
It's really bad.
Out come his opponents, screaming Norman Smiley with Ralphus. 2-on-1 handicap. Let's do it! Ralphus with his shirt on the back of it. Just say no to arrow points to his crack. And that was brilliant. Genius.
How's he still working? Jericho's already gone, and this guy is still getting paid to perform on TV.
Oh my God. So when he was with Jericho, Ralphus was getting 500 quid a night.
Okay.
And then he started getting ring rats and getting chants. So he was like, actually, I should hire an attorney and let's negotiate with WCW. And he gets like 80 grand a year instead.
Okay.
And of course, Jericho leaves for WWF in the summer of 99. And so they just like take off Ralphus for a bit. And then they just bring him back with Norman Smiley here.
Okay. And he's still getting paid.
And it'll fizzle. And then he goes back to being a truck driver.
You know what? He had a nice run. I'm happy for him.
And he gets like one of the, what would you call it? One of those recycling rings, and he can marry one of the rats that was following him from WCW.
He opens up the bin and he's like, onion rings in there that I can put on one of the girl's fingers.
But good for him.
Did he drive the ring around?
Yeah, he would have been a WCW driver.
Okay. Because I suppose he was on the road anyway, because I was thinking 80 grand is terrible to be on the road all the time. But if he was on the road anyway, why not?
Like his cargo was just late constantly as he drives the WCW arenas instead.
That is a real hardcore champion.
Ding, ding, ding. Walk and brawl straight to backstage.
Oh.
Tinfoil trash can shot. Big wiggle smacky bum bum. Ralphus waits for an eternity for Big Vito to do his spot. He's like, just his face is up. Oh yeah. Poof. Punching the bin lid into Ralphus, and Vito takes control. How do you dispose of the Wiggler, the person? Clear the elevator and throw him in. Actually works without a hitch. Ralphus gets a free trip to Planned Parenthood, whacked in the balls with a bat into a crotch trash can lid. Okay, so Norman Smiley's out, and so it's time for Big Vito to just wail on Ralphus. There's a bit where can you tell me about the table and the angles of the table they use in WCW? Vito sets up half a table.
Yeah, like one leg flops open and it's at like a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, it's like a half sandwich shape.
Yeah.
Coincidentally,
he just puts them on it.
And he puts Ralphus on it. He's lying down at 45 degrees.
I was shocked it didn't break.
Yeah.
Vito, top rope splash, 1, 2, 3, and the possible Hungarian retains.
The possible Hungarian, the Iranian.
The Iranian Vito, yeah.
Good night! No! He's gonna end his career! No! Oh my God!
And like, you know, when he's pinning him, Norman Smiley, he's like slowly walking to the ring. It's far too late. Why bother?
Yeah.
Like, there was no urgency in his steps.
Maybe he just wanted to be ready to console Ralphus.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's quite nice.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this one?
No opinion on Jesus. What could you say about this match? Like, okay, Ralphus did have a little bit of clout at some point, but clearly that's long gone. And then you have Vito, who must be one of the most under acts in WCW, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Isn't he? Nobody gives a flying fuck about Vito.
The only thing that could get him over was a dress.
Yes, okay, that was at least something notable happened in his career. He wore a dress.
Yeah.
Can Norman Smiley wrestle, please?
Yeah.
He's very good.
He is great.
He's a very good wrestler. This, to me, wasn't even funny. I was just watching it just going like, I'm hating this. There's no merit.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I actually like, because hardcore wrestling, it doesn't exist in 2025. Yeah.
No.
AEW, they have Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not a weekly staple for hardcore matches unless Mox is involved. But no, I enjoyed it. It's a bit something different, you know. On Nitro, the next night, they just repeat the same matchup. But there's a bit where Ralphus hides behind the slanty table, but his arse is hanging out the side. So Vito gets him. Loved it.
Okay, that's funny.
Look at that big fat butt. You couldn't hide that big fat butt behind the Statue of Liberty, for heaven's sakes.
Oh, somebody's got Scott Hall's contract. It's Goldberg. See, Nash is facing Goldberg later tonight to see if Hall keeps his job, because that's how contracts work. Nash calls Bill a bald-headed prick. I'll jackknife you in the middle of the ring for old time's sake, referencing beating him at Starrcade for the belt. And hey, I might do a little survey, Hall's signature. And I was like, that initial jab sounded real, that you actually don't like Goldberg.
It's quite funny on a show where someone got called bald and it led to a major incident that this kind of just floats on by. You know, he called him a bald-headed prick.
I see, the problem is he's Bill Goldberg, so you can't, the character Bill Goldberg, I called him bald.
Bald Gilberg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baldberg.
Baldberg.
Goldball?
Gilball.
We can kill Kevin Nash's career in no time.
So Nashi was in WWE less than 2 years later, and then WO had a kind of mini awful feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He wouldn't dare call Stone Cold Steve Austin bald, would he?
I suppose he's protected in WCW with his contract, but he wouldn't be in WWF. They would stand for it in WCW, but not in WWF.
Yeah, he could do whatever he wanted here.
It's no secret I've been myself lately. I've been my wise self, I should say. And the reason being, there's a bald-headed named Goldberg. It's no secret I've been myself lately. I've been my wise ass self, I should say. And the reason being, there's a bald-headed prick named Goldberg that's been holding my best friend's contract.
Match number 3 is Daphne versus Stacy Keibler in a wedding gown match with a wedding gown match promo package. I was like, what is this frame rate? And it's like, has the writing up on what Daffers is saying, and it just says, a long-legged, blue-eyed Flussy.
Flussy?
F-L-U-S-Y.
A floozy?
Floozy.
Okay.
F-L-O-O-Z-Y. See, Daffers is sweet on David. They're in a group with Crowbar, and Keibler is betrothed to him. David, I was like, he is doing very well for himself.
It's like, he's got his pick of Daphne and Stacy. Yeah. He's doing okay.
Oh man, just in terms of WCW weddings, shockingly, this Keibler-Flair wedding is WCW's only wedding angle.
Wow.
Yeah, it happens 2 months later at Nitro, September 11, 2000. Of course, it doesn't work out as Keebs stops it, saying, yes, I'm pregnant, but you're not the father. We actually covered this during Charles Boy Stable.
David Flair is not the father?
Oh my God. Wedding gown stripper match. I was looking... New Blood Rising. She's in a mud wrestling bout with Major Guns in August.
Fantastic.
Yep, I did watch that. And much like on the OSW Invasion Christmas, I turned off the terrible live version, and of course I stuck on the network 1080p version for this match.
For research.
Because it's the right thing to do.
Did you lock the door?
Didn't have to. I was alone in the house anyway.
Wait until they left the house.
There we go.
By the way, at the end of that mud match with Stacy Keibler, she's doing a sexy dance. I'm in the mud with but then everyone feel bad about it. And she just goes, my stomach. I didn't have I'm pregnant. And it's like, wait, hang on. You had a match and thought, I'll never take any damage during this match.
Yeah.
Something's up here.
Anyway, for more mud wrestling madness, check out our Invasion Christmas special, OSW 137. Okay, in the arena. Oh my God, who have we got on ring announcer? It's only Dave Penzer. It's a bit Swedish, isn't it?
It is, but I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Miss Heku.
That's definitely Swedish. Yeah.
And she has been jilted. And she is...
Excellent. You can tell Stacy and David Flair are actually dating as he kisses her on the thigh and like moves up. And it was like, she wouldn't let Shane Douglas do that.
Who would? Shane Douglas' wife wouldn't let him do that.
You can only imagine
there with the handbag.
Can you imagine Douglas doing that? Just the lecherous laughter coming out of me. Filthy old fecker.
Is his wife just him in a wig? And David Flair lobs the gob at her as well. That's how you can really tell. Nut shot start. Oink. Put the honeymoon on hold. Signature Skanks brawling spot where they throw the head into the mat. Hello, Attitude Era.
It's just Moolah wrestling, isn't it? It's snapmares and smashing the back of the head. And
hey, the snapmares are executed extremely well.
And
yes, roll forward and 1, 2, go.
I'm surprised Stacy could do that, honestly.
True.
What do you feel about the handspring elbow into the corner, and then it's not far enough, so you have to waddle back?
the Tori Wilson patented special, yeah.
Yes.
It's fine.
You're gonna get the Muto fans coming after you on this one again.
Oh yeah.
Because they came after me before because I called it the chick spot.
But have you know? But every woman does it. He can't have it. It's not his. He brought it into the world. He gave birth to it, and now all the women have it.
All the women have it now, yeah.
Tell him to get with modern times, mate. Stacy teases a Rikishi bum spot, but denied. Double men stop the women from fighting, despite it being a sanctioned match. Double slap the men. Double pants the men. Can you give us a pants noise? That's a mime, Steve.
What?
That's what Steve did with the mud match. Slick, referee Slick Johnson, he gets pants and he's tucked his tidy whities over the ref jersey.
Richard. Did Richard do that?
He had the pants over the shirt.
He did.
Yeah. He was like,
yeah.
Heels try to shave Daffer's head. That's mean. But Crowbar intervenes.
I'm very uncomfortable right now, Hudson. I can imagine how you feel.
We also see that Daffers is wearing a full bodysuit under her dress, which I found to be incredibly unsexy.
They're kind of bloomery.
Yeah.
I am disgusted.
Something you might find in like Red Dead, in the matrons of the house,
You can always tell what video game Jay is currently playing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that. But what is sexy is Stacy just stops and says, I know what men wants, and strips. Unfortunately, it also means losing the bout. The stipulations of the match.
This is like Kane getting over the top rope in the Rumble in 1999, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just way hotter.
But it's okay. Thankfully, Stacy's win-loss record doesn't affect her job prospects.
I think Daphne's the winner. Miss Hancock took her own gun off. That's it. The match is over.
Is this the time to bring up that she still has quite a large corset on?
You're not impressed.
But like the WCW guy has played the theme song. Just forget it. You're not getting it. Tune in next time, maybe.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's that. Overall, Meltzer gave this -1 star, but me, 3 stars, I feel. Like, I'd rather see this than most of the bouts WCW is serving up. So, what do you think?
You don't watch this for wrestling. You watch this for bollocks. And I got bollocks, but we needed more. I think that's so only 9 on 10.
Yeah, that's sad. They turned chicken salad into chicken shit, unfortunately.
Oh dear.
This could have been special.
I thought this match was quite emotional, you know? Even the cake was in tears. Yes! That's it.
Okay.
I got it. Oh, the wedding cake is in tears.
Look at you.
Yeah, I mean, that's really highbrow.
All right.
Way too highbrow for our audience.
Titty balls.
Yeah, that's more our audience's speed, Jay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Why did I just leaving that bit in? Oh my God.
In the back, I think it's very apparent as they're still cleaning up the ringside area here.
Quick breather between bouts, watching WCW staff mopping up the wedding cake. Daffers shoved the wedding cake in the face, you know. Mopping it is going to take ages.
You could see that they were getting nowhere, and they had like 3 or 4 lads out with like Coke bottles of water. I was like, that's not going to help anything.
You're trying to dissolve a cake.
It's ridiculous.
A cake is moist. It absorbs. A sponge cake.
And then luckily they had one smart person there because they eventually said, we just flip the mats.
And let the other lads deal with it, is it?
At the end of the night.
Yeah.
But I would have thought the mats would be, you know, underneath you'd have kind of a layer of very high friction material so that it doesn't move when it's on the floor. So are these mats, they were exactly the same both sides?
It seemed like it.
Okay.
Yeah, would you not just put a layer of plastic down and you could whip it off? Or you could have 2 mats and just whip off 1 mat. Do you know what they do when there's like a bloody match that's going to be on earlier in the night? They just have 2 aprons so you can rip them off.
The cake's been cleaned up, fans. We're going to go back to the ring. It's great to have you with us.
Match number 4 is the Perfect Event versus Kronic. And so, you know, Mr. Perfect's theme hits. And it was like, lower expectations. It's WCW Tag Champion Sean Stasiak and Chuck Palumbo. Craziak being one of my periphery boys. So is my sanity under attack? Is it my mental faculties that I lack? That's just another day in the life of Planet Stasiak.
That's good shit.
Yep.
They're facing Kronic in the battle of the rip-off themes. Steve, Mr. Perfect's theme.
Bim, 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 bim. Bim, 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 bim.
Okay, and the Perfect Event?
Boom, bim, boom, bim. Jurassic Park!
Okay, Kronic's theme?
Oh, it's just like Kronic.
Okay, and Love Dump by Static X? That's way too happy. What was Splicey? Splicey. All 4 lads got a WWF contract when WCW went out of business. Didn't go great. Kronic, famous for their infamous match versus the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker and Kane at Unforgiven 2001.
Yeah.
How did Kronic do in the match? Is the internet's opinion of this match correct?
Yes and no. It's like, this is not a good match, and it does get worse as the match goes on because something goes wrong, it gets in someone's head, then it's just error after error afterwards. But it's not as bad as the internet will have you believe.
Can I interject, please? I already have. So, Booker T and Buff Bagwell, as I mentioned on one of the last shows, their match on Raw wasn't that bad. It was a perfectly competent TV match. But of course, people who have never seen the match think, yeah, it's terrible. Oh, have you seen the match? It's awful. You haven't fucking watched it. Mm-hmm. And I'd wager it's exactly the same for this fucking match.
So there's Credit rolling to the outside to confront the Undertaker and Kane.
So Adam Bomb, Brian Clark, his offense is like really soft, and like he's doing these kicks in the corner and they just look really bad. And he does this like running big boot where it's like he bounces off Kane almost. It looks so bad. And then the flip side is that Brian Adams' offense looks decent, but his selling is like Nathan Jones. You know that selling where the person just kind of freezes and like he gets hit and he just goes
He turns into Ricky Starks.
Yeah. Yeah, so like it's very, very bad. But like the first half of the match is not too bad. Taker gives them nothing. Like he just fucking smashes them. Then Kane gets in and Kane sells and they work over him. And it's not until Taker tags back in where the match just completely falls apart. Because I think Kronic at that point gassed and they wanted to do the hot tag spot where someone runs at Taker, strike, they bump. Other guy, strike, bump, get back up, you know?
Yeah.
And they're not getting back up because they're gassed. And Taker, you can just hear going, feed, come on. And you can see the lads like, oh my God, I'm so fucking knackered. And then from that point on, it just kind of snowballs. And like the lads are just out of place. They're slow. Kane goes to lift Bryan Adams for his backbreaker. He just like sandbags him. So you can tell that the guys are furious. For the finish, Taker was meant to hit Bryan Adams out of the ring so then he can hit the chokeslam on Clark. Adams is nowhere to be found. He's like, get in the fucking ring! Then he knocks him out and then he hits the choke slam and it ends. And I was like, honestly, by the time the match ended, I was like, this was a bad match and they probably shouldn't have gotten signed. Or at the very least, they probably should have been sent down to OVW for a few months. Let's get you into ring shape. Let's get you used to the WWE working style where, you know, like in WCW, it's like punch, 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 bump, punch, 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 bump. And in WWE, it's like punch, bump, you know, down, up, feed. Yeah, like Steve, just the kind of final saying it is a bad match, but it's not legendarily bad.
Which is how it's portrayed.
Yeah.
And they were also, whether we know it or not, and I do because I'm saying it, a big influence for End of Days.
I mean, we just ripped them off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, this was a failure of booking. You've got this new, like, Kronic look fucking awesome. They look like stars, and they could have been something if they were given the chance. Why would you throw them to the Sharks in the first match?
Could you imagine if, like, Adam Broom was on the ground and Taker's going, feed? He was like, what did you feed for me?
The man who has orchestrated a decade of destruction.
Crush Bra, Adam Bomb, looking beastly. Two big bucks, a fresh feeling tag team. Kronic clear house and get a big pop. Man, good times, high hopes. They just joined WCW in April, helping Russo and Bischoff's men capture the tag titles at Spring Stampede. Like, I didn't have access to WCW at the time, so it was all word of mouth, through friends, you're reading magazines, and I just heard Kronic, they are awesome. So let's see what WCW do with them. Big Boot, Full Nelson, and Uncle Slam, as the Patriot used to do in the year of our Lord. Nice.
Uncle Sam's a great name, by the way.
Thank you. I can't, never mind. Bike Bra smacks Crush Bra with a chair bra, and we see the goddamn wedding cake is still a mess on the ground. Bike Bra slaps on a sleeper hold, and holy fuck, the crowd rally behind Adam's bra. I'm so impressed. Crazy Bra, as in crazy act, sleeper hold, as he visibly calls the next few spots. He's just like, shut up here, next move, yeah, shut up, next move. It's like expose pro wrestling's greatest secrets.
I got him now, baby. Oh, 2 elbows. I got him, baby. You're mine. Tackle.
Crush Bra, F5's Crazy Bra, double Big Boot Bra, and it's time for a double chokeslam finish. Bra hits it. High time to Pelumbra. Adam Bra. I'm so sorry, OC. No, I'm not.
This is awful. This is absolutely awful.
What are we doing, lads?
Please hurry.
Powerbomb into top rope clothesline. Very LOD-like. 1, 2, 3, and Kron Bras become the new tag champions.
OC has never wanted me to review Nitro more.
1, 2, 3.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, thank you. I thought this match went great, and exactly what you said. As long as you book Kronic like the Road Warriors, we're on to a winner. Yeah, I think even in this, Adam Broom was exposed, and like
he's very bad.
The workhorse is Crush Bra. But I actually,
the workhorse is Crush.
But I actually have a higher opinion of Crush, brah, after this match.
I thought this was a good match. And, I mean, it's slim pickings on this card.
But Steve, there was no flips.
I know. but I just like Kronic. What can I say? I enjoyed this.
I think Kronic might be the tag team
of
the
90s.
Most potential that I've seen in ages. Just like they have everything except for the wrestling talent.
And they're decent big men.
I thought that the first half of this match was actually really good because it's just the big lads baiting the shite out of the other lads.
And the crowd came alive for it as well.
Yeah, they were cheering for them. They were into it. And then as soon as they had to sell, it fell apart. And I thought that by the time we got to the end, it was a complete mess.
So the lesson is never sell.
Don't sell. There we go. They're the champions now and they
Hawk
don't have
was
to
right.
sell anymore. There we go. Everyone can bump around them.
Hawk, I take it all back,
Bump
sir.
around them.
Not touch them. Just
It all goes according to plan because the wrestlers are telling each other what to do. First, the two elbows. There's one and the second. Now the tackle. Right on cue.
Self-high five.
Self-high five. It's DDP's mate, Positively Kanyon versus Booker T. I like Kanyon, but that was a mean bait and switch. Watching the show. Positively Kanyon, as in DDP's book, Positively Page. They're feuding as part of the New Blood versus Millionaires Club angle. Best thing to come out of the Positively Kanyon gimmick was he'd hit the Canyon Cutter, the Diamond Cutter, on various randos, including backstage, like Mean Gene and Buff Bagwell's ma. Yep. Leading to a...
Oh, yeah. I know. I watched it.
Oh, no. The Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
Yeah. It is... I mean, it's WCW. It's terrible. It's stupid, but it's got a special place in our hearts because it's so bad.
He's facing Booker T. I thought prime Buck here. Bit of beef on him. Looking healthy.
He's still looking great today. So, yeah. He looks like a wrestler. He looks like a professional wrestler.
He looks like a wrestler.
First exchange and Canyon's wig comes off. Much like AEW's Layla Gray. She was wrestling Queen Aminata.
Oh, yeah.
Who kind of stood and then she moved her head and it just ripped off.
Tony. Oh, wait a second. Inside cradle.
Oh, look out right there.
Queen Aminata.
Looking good.
Getting a better...
All over Layla Gray here.
Small point, Kanyon with no elbow pads, velvet jocks. He looks a bit Cali. Do you know?
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. Mm. Oh man, Booker rocks Kanyon with a clothesline, hits it in deep. Mr. T grabs DDP's book, brick falls out. Then Mark Madden says, it's a better read.
Hey-o.
How's it good? Spill to the outside and Positively Kanyon is thrown into the guard railings with a WWF sucks sign in the crowd. And I was like, man, you didn't hold that up during the wedding gown match.
They actually blur the sign on the WWE network.
Oh my God. Like what it's not even WWE. Do you know WWE? Kanyon suplexes Booker from the middle of Brett's rope back inside the ring. Very nice.
That was so nice.
Sit down, Alabama Slam. Beefy bump. Reverse Boston Crab. Kanyon showing why he's called the innovator of offense.
By the way, that's the Billy Goat's curse.
Very good. Yeah. But he also shows why not to do it. It's reverse right into a pin.
1, 2. Did he grab his tights? Yes. And a roll up by Kanyon to the other way.
He who sets it up must go through it. Kanyon set up a steel chair wedged into the turnbuckle and is whipped into it, and then a nasty slam planting Kanyon. WCW director misses the spin-a-rooney.
I'm so annoyed.
Yeah, I was like, thanks, dickhead. But he catches the axe kick and rock bottom bookend. What's Jarrett's theme song?
Everyone knows it's just wee woo, wee woo. No.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Can you do the...
That's more...
Bicycle.
Yeah, that's Taylor Swift.
But it's
not
like
Taylor Swift. That's
Taylor Wilde.
Taylor Wilde.
But it's like a harmonica. It's like... Jarrett, what was that? Interference never draws a dime. Earlier, Kanyon used the now unloaded book to hit Booker T with. The brick fell out, so he can't seal the win with it. But a Kanyon cutter pulls Booker off the second rope. 1, 2, 3, and positively Kanyon with the win.
2, no, 3. That is a travesty. Yeah!
Surprise upset for Buck, but it's not the last we'll see of him tonight. What do you think?
Gotta have Booker go over, lads. He's gonna be your world champion in an hour and a half.
Should he be in a match?
What? Oh, if
they suddenly book him into a match.
Gotta have him go over. But solid match, 2 solid wrestlers. You can't go wrong with these 2 lads.
Yep.
Do you think it would have been better if Booker T also had a wig?
Or a weave.
Oh, a weave. Yeah, we could settle the debate.
Yes.
Wig or weave?
Wig
or weave or wig?
Thank you. He
wig
said
or
wigger.
Very pleasantly not surprised.
I thought in terms of work rate, this was the best thing on the show by fucking miles so far. Booker's amazing. We all love him. Kanyon's also really good. But they're just let down by the booking because the finish is shit, as is every finish in WCW. No one just ever wins. Can we please just put someone over? Vince, Eric.
Listen, we haven't been in 2000 for over 10 years. You can't be sick of it already.
It's 5 matches in a row.
Do you have any notes from the match? Anything that took your eye?
Nope.
Really? What about a brick in the book?
What about it?
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Another world-class review from us.
What's your
the inside?
It was a waste of a good brick.
Yeah.
You know.
I love my brick.
I was like, someone has stolen a brick from the children's hospital. We won't be able to make it now.
What did you think of the brick, Jay?
What? I enjoyed it tremendously, and I enjoyed that he'd use it before because it's a bit of a hark back to Sherry and keeping a brick in her purse, you know. And that the brick fell out, it's no longer like a loaded weapon, it's an unloaded weapon. So, you know, Russo, he makes you think. Get the scholars on it, though.
Makes you think.
Get the scholars on it.
Layers, yeah.
Hey, Mr. Muscles. Mike. Mike?
Can't you see I'm trying to get myself booked over here? Chill.
Yeah, I see it. But what I really want to know is...
Come on.
What about...
Come on. No, don't go. Ah.
Match number 6 for the US title. It's Scott Steiner, the champion, versus Mike Awesome. Haha, Mike Awesome, the fat chick thriller, hitting on a fat lady singer. That 70s guy gimmick just under 2 months away, which is garbage, but he did have a Partridge Family-esque bus, and he feuded with the ICP, which gave us the famous Mark Madden call, "The bus has been washed."
The bus has been washed.
And the famous botch where
he slides.
He does like a razor's edge to one of the juggalos, and he slides off the bus, and it's one of the scariest things I've ever seen in wrestling.
Bit of splice.
Mm-hmm.
Not an awesome bomb on that 70s bus. Oh, no! Awesome bomb! Awesome bomb! Down goes Shaggy.
Of course, Mike Awesome showed up in WCW 3 months ago, April 10th, still as ECW champion, but without the belt. We don't want to risk getting sued. Mike Awesome was just saying Heyman owed him wages and his contract had run out. I'm not signing until you pay me.
And he's right.
Yeah. The compromise was Awesome would drop it to Taz a few days later in Indianapolis. That's in April 2000. When did Taz join WWF? January at the Royal Rumble. So Taz versus Awesome was a WWF contracted employee versus a WCW contracted employee in an ECW ring. Fucking mental.
Jesus. That's right, because Taz came back on SmackDown with the ECW belt and challenged Triple H, and Triple H went, I'm beating the ECW champion on SmackDown. Oh, fuck, I forgot about that.
By the way, the match is it's the crowd are quite hot, and it's just a bit crazy watching it. And Dreamer comes in, gives a DDT. Taz hits the Kajahajime, and he taps. And of course, you actually have a job and a place to go during the week, so he gives it to the Dreamboat next week.
Wasn't like there Awesome had a huge amount of heat, but Taz was still really over. I'm confused by that.
Yeah, he's allowed to leave.
Okay.
And everyone likes him. It's very
I also think it's that the fans hated WCW more than they did WWF as well, because Bischoff's a prick.
Yeah, true.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, allegedly at Thunder, like at the booking meetings, and they go through it with the officials and that, Scott Steiner was told, hey, Mike Awesome's going over you at the pay-per-view. So he threatened to beat up Terry Taylor, the member of the booking team, and he's like, I'll sue you. And Scott's like, I'll sue you. And they both dropped it. So let's find out what the revised finish is.
Confidence is a mere guise. No!
Ding, ding, ding. Steiner jumps off the apron successfully.
Yeah, yes! That's why he got so cocky about doing it against Test.
There you go. They're both in black with red writing. This is a terrible word. They're both in black with red writing. Seriously, try say it. They're both in black.
Okay, let me try.
Yeah.
And then you, Steve. They're both in black with red writing.
Damn it, he's good.
Come on.
They're both in black with red writing.
Fuck both of you. I think they could be on a team together, awesome rides. I don't know. Run and suicide dive over the railings, and the lads brawl in the crowd. And I love that the crowd kind of form a little fight circle. That was pretty cool. Signature clothesline and bicep flex up, and elbow drops. Brett's rope belly to belly suplex. Run and scale 4 corner punches. The lads are cooking. On the outside, jab with a real plastic chair. It's like the Christian Brothers school chair. Jab with. Oh, and then there's a sign in the crowd. I like signs. And this is my favorite one of the night. It says, Mike the Awesome Mullet.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that one.
Yeah. It was like, did mullets ever go away?
They're back.
Are they?
Oh, they're hugely back.
Give me a wrestler, like a well-known wrestler.
Dominic.
Yeah, Dom. Yeah.
But that's a piss take. Give me like somebody who thinks they look good.
By the way, when I'm saying they're back, I mean in the real world. Like kids, young lads with fucking mullets. Like,
I don't think they ever left wrestling. Yeah, think about wrestlers.
Think about a current well-known, or even not well-known.
Does Jey Uso have a mullet?
He does. Yeah. He's got the long back and the short sides. Yeah.
But is it a mullet
like the top baby face at the minute?
But is it a mullet if it's all slick back? I don't know. I thought a mullet had to be kind of puffy
and dry.
Yeah, puffy and dry.
They're trying to extol the virtues of the mullet without being designated as mullet wearer.
Yeah, they want to represent mullets, but on the sly.
Yeah.
Brawl a bit too close to Penzer, who hightails it to the entrance ramp. Top rope sail over splash. Top rope clothesline. Finish of the match. Are you enjoying this match? Tough. Cat interference so Awesome can butt his head into Steiner's crotch. And wow in front of the ref. Huge top rope splash. Can't put Steiner down. Ref bump. Cat in. Kicks Awesome by accident. Gets an overhead suplex for good measure. But Cat warns him, don't do the Steiner recliner. It's a bad move, according to him. And he does. And so, ring the bell. Cat takes that US title belt.
Ring the bell! Ring the bell! I'll strip you of your title!
The Cat, has stripped him of the title?
And just to close the storyline on Nitro, Mike Awesome actually turns down Cat just giving him the US belt, saying, I'd rather earn it, and turns back to hitting on Nitro Girl Beef. Her name is Beef!
He's becoming the fat chick thriller, and I'm here for it.
Yes. So they end up having a tournament for it, where he makes it all the way to the finals, but loses to Lance Storm. Anyway, what do you think of this?
I thought the match was good. It was heated. I'd probably say in terms of work, it's my second favourite match of the night after Booker T and Kanyon. Steiner in 2000 still hadn't gotten to the point where he was so massive that he couldn't work. He could still do stuff. He looked imposing. He was still decent, but just the same as every other match on the card. Just the fucking finish, man. It's such a downer every time someone else comes out because you know it's just going to be like, oh, it's going to be bollocks, isn't it? And we got the double bollocks of interference and a fucking shitty non-finish as well. It ruined it.
How are you with this?
I was looking forward to this because I think Mike Awesome is awesome, and I was hoping Scott Steiner would be, athletic Scott Steiner, but yeah, I don't know, Steve. I think he's already
he's not
tipped over
93 Steiner, but he's also not 2003 Steiner.
No, but he's way closer. I mean, literally in terms of years and ability, way close to 2003 Steiner.
He hasn't quite broken out the kick punch just yet.
We need more kick punch.
Yeah,
but when Awesome leaped over the top rope like as only he can, I was so excited, and it slowed down dramatically from then on. So I was a bit disappointed.
I was like, yeah, great match, shit WCW finish, but in general a pleasant hoss battle. I was like, I don't think WCW would let Mike Awesome be showcased in general, but he is like their JBL. I was like, could you hire Masato Tanaka and just let them beat the bollocks out of each other? I would appreciate it. No. But hey, check out our OSW ECW arc. We got him in Heatwave 98 and in One Night Stand 2005.
Yeah, it's a quality arc.
Thank you.
No, not necessary.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, you're welcome.
A lot of things going on in the ring. We're going to take you, we understand, to the graveyard. It's time for the graveyard match.
Shivani's like, we're going to the graveyard right now.
As you do.
Pardon me, Tony? Because it's our next matchup. The Demon versus Vampiro in a graveyard match. The Demons made Asia hand holding with little H. Did you see they're holding hands because they're so scared because they're in this park at 7 p.m.
They're in the park. They're going for a nice walk in the park.
Look at Asia when they're like, oh, look at that casket. Who's in the casket? And she's like, whoa. It was wonderful. But who's that jumping out the tree? It's Vampiro. Misses him by a mile. So his Pearl Harboring didn't work out. Shivani comments, they are taunting each other. There's no taunting. Now there's taunting. What kind of fool reads off his notes? Vampiro, don't make me do to you what I did to Sting. Because at last month's Great American Bash, Vampiro beat Sting in a Human Torch match. So what is the expected stip of this match?
You have to light your opponent on fire.
Aha, so what if it's a man shaped like Sting?
And in
Sting-shaped man!
And in a very obvious flame retardant outfit.
Yes.
And potentially falling off a Titantron.
Oh my God, were you there? Did you? Yeah, then they have this thing like strobe lighting, so your man takes a front bump onto cardboard boxes, extinguishes the flame immediately, and then they're like, let's just douse you with the fire extinguisher anyway.
I believe his wig fell off, and so someone thought on their feet, and to give him the chance to get the wig back on, they were like, we'll just douse the stage in smoke and foam and cover up. But then they also ran in with the patented TNA towel and and covered his head anyway. So that you
a pre-burnt towel.
The pre-burnt
They put it in the toaster backstage.
And so after being set on fire, Sting's been out since. Back to the Monster Mash, the Graveyard Smash. Yeah, free kick to the back. Or like, whoo, bit of Roy Keane on you. The Demon...
Hold on. You didn't talk about the Demon when he's walking through the graveyard at first. He's got a torch, but it's like, it's a sword torch. It looks like an Elden Ring weapon. It's so awesome. And then he plants it into the ground and it's like a shower of sparks. That is the greatest production WCW has ever had, and they didn't mean it.
Why didn't he use it as a weapon?
Because he's a fucking idiot.
Because it cost a lot of money. And I wonder what the size of the birthday cake he stole that from.
Because, as per the rules of wrestling, if you're going to use a weapon, you have to cup it with your hand. And if it's a shoot sword,
if it's on fire. Brilliant. The demon gets dumped into the open grave. And that's that, apparently. So, hey, Asia, let's walk away. I do like how Vampiro and Asia walk through the archway. Thought that was kind of lovely, you know. By the way, Asia, buff female bodyguard, so shades of China, and he will name her Asia because Asia's bigger than China. Oh, it's like, I hate you, Russo. Oh my God. Demon's back up and in hot pursuit. There's Asia by her lonesome. She's just like rocking scared. So Demon goes, oh, hey, how you doing? How you doing? And like,
how you doing?
Vampiro.
How are you, Asia?
Vampiro peeks up from the lake and then Pearl's Harbor.
It was like the Fiend and Braun Strowman had a cinematic match. It was like Extreme Rules 2020. And then that was the end of the match where like the Fiend popped out of the water at the end.
Wonderful.
Just minus the
I do love the commentators. They try to put it over. It's like, this is Florida. There could be alligators. They could drown in this 6 inches of water. Yeah, God bless him. And little Nate fishes out Torborg. It's like he like an old lady crossing the street. He takes him out of the lake. Asia is KO'd right beside the casket. And then they're he spits the red. He spits the red, the Ribena.
The Ribena.
Moment of truth, Dale. Torborg. Cinder block to the head.
Yes.
The old polystyrene cinder block. Yeah.
Just a big block of dust. It's fucking brilliant. I love this spot in professional wrestling.
Could you imagine if they made buildings out of this material?
Yes, you could punch it down. Couldn't you?
You'd have a lot cheaper if you're demolishing a building.
It would be like, what was that old NES game? Rampage. Do you remember where you're climbing up the building?
Yeah. This is what it's made of.
You could do that.
That'd be brilliant. Do you know who could have done with one of those blocks? Swerve Strickland and Hangman in their cage match in AEW last year, where they used a shoot block for their spots, and he did like a fucking vertebraker onto an actual concrete block. It was horrific.
Is that the one where he like takes a back bump, like the corner of the small of his back, onto the cinder block? I'm like, you carny.
Yeah.
Go! Look out! Look out! Don't do it! No!
Oh, the lower back. The lower back.
Oh my God. It was wonderful, but like, I'm glad it,
it got amazing heat, but like, take care of yourselves.
And DVDs don't exist anymore, so it won't be on a best of Hangman DVD. Do you know? Obviously, splicey Scott Hall with Austin,
of course,
Cinderblock, and Vampiro dumps the demon in the coffin and up-arses it into the grave. Throw a lit torch afterwards and spit. There is a camera cut, so it was like, oh, are you going to put it on fire?
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, no, he just kind of quietly leaves. Yeah.
Why would you battle Vampiro on his own terms, though? Why would anyone?
See you later.
Yeah, well, he just needs to, walk the few miles back to the arena to win the match. So he's good. He's good.
The commentary here is so great. He goes, oh, we don't even know where this is. They could be 70 meters away or we could be miles.
You don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'll tell you all I thought when I was watching this. Jay is going to love it, and I think Steve will probably love it as well. This is like catnip for you lads, this kind of over-the-top nonsense. But I didn't hate it. I mean, it was entertaining. I assume a lot of people are going to shit on it. Oh, it's fucking stupid. But is it any more stupid than the Boneyard match from WrestleMania a few years ago, or the broken Matt Hardy stuff, or Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman? Or is it on that level?
Loved it. Absolutely fucking loved it. Yeah. Like, it's silly and it's stupid. And I think ultimately, what the difference is between those other matches that you mentioned is the quality of performer in it. Not Dale fucking Torborg and Vampiro off his tits going, you know, like if you did this with Sting and, you know, someone who's not these two lads, it could have been great. Also, it'd be nice to have a match filmed in the dark. In the dead of night, not lit by the referee with a torch. It's like he thinks he's playing Alan Wake. That's so fucking stupid. Get a lighting rig, lads. Yeah. Jesus.
No. I agree. Yeah, I know Dave Meltzer -2 stars, but
fuck off, Dave. You joyless.
Yeah, listen, I've seen thousands of wrestling matches. Anything that you can present to me that's different, bit of fun, I'm up for it. This was good fun. I enjoy different presentations. Like, you're wondering what they're doing, and this is lads playing pinch bottom in the park at midnight or whatever.
Pinch bottom?
It's great. Bit of crack, lad.
Yeah. I miss cinematic matches. I know in 2020, because of COVID, they overdid them and they kind of burnt it out, but I'd be like, give me one every year, you know?
Yeah.
Just give me one big one every year, and I'm totally down for that.
Yes. This wouldn't be the end. Can we just wrap this bit up now, the Vampiro bit?
Yeah.
I promised the whole world that I would destroy that pain in the ass, Dale Torborg.
Later on in the night, Vampiro gloats in the ring about his victory. Fans chant, "We want Sting," as hooded druids in Sting masks shuffle down the ramp, carrying a casket with them. Forming a circle around the casket, Vampiro opens it. Or Sting! No escape as Vampy is threatened with the bats, the baseball bats, not me. Is it actually Sting? We can't see with the strobe, but Metallica's Seek and Destroy confirms it is the character Sting. As, you know, it goes dark for a few seconds, come back up, and an unconscious Vampiro slumbers in the coffin.
As the Stings stand around it with their bat cocks pointed at him like some kind of bat kake.
Very good, very good.
That's Sting's music! I guess it has to be Sting!
So, like, okay, that wasn't Steve Borden. He didn't show up for this shit. But who did? That little boy that nobody liked was Chris Harris.
A very young Chris Harris. No, not that young a Chris Harris. Like a mid-20s Chris Harris.
Yeah. He said at the time he had the body and the hair, general kind of vibe of Sting, and Stinger himself would put on his makeup.
I have the body and hair of Sting, therefore I'm going to wear a balaclava, glasses, a t-shirt and a trench coat. Jesus.
I'll pause it and you can see there's a bit where that's not Sting, you know, the hair is slightly a bit different, but Steve Borden would say, hey, it's like it's like looking in a mirror. It's like looking in a smelly mirror. But Harris would do the fake Sting in TNA as well.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
This is unreal! Sting through the Mets!
Franchise, after turning your back on Buff Bagwell.
Backstage with Mean Gene, a franchise promo. The first time in history he didn't mention Ric Flair. Well, what are you saying, Shano? I'll beat Buff Bagwell because I'm that damn good. It's 2000. That's just Triple H's line.
Yeah.
Oh, what a gimp.
Yes, but... But he is...
the game.
It is his gimmick. It is actually his gimmick. The franchise is the same as the game, you know, almost, you could argue.
Obviously, it's a blatant rip-off of a line from a bigger star, so it makes him look bad, but his delivery was excellent.
Trying to think of who else. What if he just said, I'm going to beat you tonight, because I'm a sexy boy. I'm not yours. You know what I mean? It just, listen, this other guy has dibs on the word game, and that damn good.
Because I am that damn good.
Why? Because I'm a franchise. Why? Because I'm just that damn good.
Match number 8, it's Buff Bagwell versus Shane Douglas. I love Buff's giddy point and pyro. He's like,
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, I always love seeing the franchise, as I just think he was the fourth member of the Radicals in WCW. the Revolution. Benoit, Saturn, Dino, Douglas. What a substitution. Shane Douglas is out and Eddie Guerrero in. It's almost as good as substituting, okay, HBK is out. Who do you want in the main event of No Way Out 1998? It's only Los Boricuas, Savio Vega.
I'll have you know, he's extremely over in that 5-minute return at Backlash in Puerto Rico, or whatever the fuck it was.
I'll have you know, his family members liked him.
They were a great tag team, but now they are no more. And here we go, one-on-one.
Franchise and Buff brawl in the corner security railing, and that's where the WWE Network tomfoolery happens. They blur the sign, WWF sucks. Boo! So here it is, unblurred. Nothing's going on. So the beautiful Tori Wilson comes out. She's cheering Buff on, but it's like, you know, we're only back in WCW 2000 today. Do you know? What's the chances of her swerving whatever she's doing? Do you know what I mean? So it's about 1-1. She gets into the ring for a big smackaroo on Buff Bagwell, and then kicking the balls. Franchise hits a big suplex, aka Pittsburgh plunge. No, that's not the finish.
I was shocked.
Double arm DDT. Shit. Bagwell, lose that move from your arsenal, mate. The 2019 Hall of Famer, Tori Wilson, makes herself useful. Denies a Buff blockbuster. So, atomic drop. Jumping nothing. And hitch up the jocks. Roll up 1, 2, 3. And the franchise wins.
That got him. What was that? We've never seen that move. And that got him flush on the jaw. 1, 2, 3 to beat. It's over.
So, out of these three people, only Tori Wilson is in the Hall of Fame.
As it should be.
Yep.
Fuck's sake.
It's incredible. You know the way they induct 15 people every year?
Yeah.
Haven't gotten around to the stuff.
Nope.
Or the chais.
No.
The OG, the original game.
Yeah.
What do you think of this two bastions of WCW together?
There is absolutely no, from what I can see, there is no need to have this match. You know, make the pay-per-view 10, 15 minutes shorter and can we all go home?
It'd be better if you leave.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's nothing to see here. And then the classic, as you say, the 1-in-1 chance of Tori with the heel turn. I mean, come on.
She turned heel and joined the New Blood in April. And then she turned on Billy Kidman last month.
Yeah, she turned on Billy Kidman last month against Hogan.
Then she turns on.
And then Goldberg turned last month.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
What's the point?
She needs to turn on Goldberg. Get that going. Cut to Jarrett with Mean Gene. Sorry, Jurassic slap ass. Have you seen The Usual Suspects? It's like, is this a bit or are you actually asking? we can talk about it afterwards. And main event, Michael Buffer's in the ring. He says, in the year 2000, Bash at the beach. You don't give a fuck, do you? Because holy crap, we're doing the main event next. So it must mean it's the halfway point of the show. It's time for the ad break questionnaire.
Hey yo, Ryan from WrestlingBios here, and this week's Jam Up guys are Jay Hunter, V1 and OOC, because I just watched this pay-per-view earlier tonight and I know what the lads are going through. It's never too late to go back, boys. Anyway, here's my ad break questionarium. OOC's favourite, what bar is Big Vito?
Yo, NWOites, this is Hollywood Hogan, and make sure you get your PlayStation Underground, otherwise I'll bust you up real bad.
Before the break, I asked you guys what bar is Big Vito. He's wearing red, white and green, so he's a pack of extra strong 3-bore mints, a bag of Kwanzaa M&Ms, He's the Spar logo. What Spar? A can of Castrol GTX engine oil. And he's the 94-95 Villa away kit. But our winner is the Iron Sheik holding the Iranian flag. Thanks for playing, everyone. Remember to check out my Bash at the Beach video too if you make it through here alive. Let's get back to OSW.
Welcome to the year 2000 WCW Bash at the Beach and the main event of the evening.
Apparently, it's time for your main event. We are getting Jeff Jarrett, the WCW champion, versus Hulk Hogan. But there's an hour left. How long is this shoot interview? Anyway, Jeff Jarrett's full theme plays. Awesome. So long it actually finishes and starts again. But out comes Vince Russo. Huge pop from me. Aha, there is Jeffrey. Full entrance. Main event. Waka waka hey. NWO theme. There's Hulk Hogan. Less hot doggy than usual, but still going through the motions.
He still came out last though.
He looks in great shape here as well. Champion Jarrett stood at ringside, arms folded, odd stone-faced, indignant look on him. Hogan gets the mic. Jeff Jarrett, you've been chosen. Come on down and get your ass kicked. Jarrett complies, lays down, prone, middle of the ring. Hogan's at a loss. Russo has the world title and shows Hogan, motioning for Hogan to do his dirty business. Hogan can't compute what is happening. Is this a rib? Hulk quietly talks to Jarrett. Nothing doing, mate. Russo gets up on the apron and chucks the belt into the ring. He leaves hanging his head as Hogan stares at him in disbelief. Hulk asks for the mic. Is this your deal, Russo? This is why the company's in the damn shape it is, because of bullshit like this. Huge pop.
That's why this company's in the damn shape it's in, because of bullshit like this.
My God, this is real life. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so that's it then. 1 foot on Jarrett, kind of throws up his hands. 1, 2, 3, and new world champion. Jarrett immediately gets up and rolls out of the ring, not looking back at Hogan, who looks for an explanation. And that's it. Commentators try to explain to the camera and the fans at home, there were swerves and there are swerves. We've all been swerved. Obviously, this hasn't finished tonight. It's an evolving story, but we'll dissect it afterwards. But pure kayfabe-wise, like entertainment-wise, what did you think?
It's not an entertaining segment. Something feels off. You know what I mean? Like, it feels wrong. It's awkward. There's nothing here that makes me want to cheer or that makes me want to see more of the wrestling content. Any interest that I have is for behind the scenes type of stuff, you know?
Could you imagine if you were watching, like, The Batman and Robert Pattinson just goes, is this your deal, James Gunn? This is why DC's in the shape it is, because of bullshit like this. Why don't we get to after Russo and then we'll talk about the whole thing? Is that okay? When I saw this, I thought the company died. It was like, how do you even come back from that?
It's actually whatever. It's like, this is company killing content.
It stepped outside of its body and was looking at itself. You know? Okay, yeah, I was a bit sad we didn't get to see Jarrett Hogan, but I also know it would have been shite.
Yeah.
Because I can't see Hogan selling for Jarrett. Oh, no, please, Jeff, don't draw a dime. You know? Can't imagine it. Although he did put over Billy Kidman, so, you know.
Put him over and then for 3 months straight smashed him out of it. Yeah.
And this part is when Vampiro, you can actually see him come out and Hogan's walking at the back. Yeah. And Nick Hogan has the title belt. That's pretty cool. And then, okay, let's just cut to the next thing. Moving on. Backstage, Goldberg is holding Scott Hall's contract because he wants to beat up Nash first, rip it up in front of him, and end the Outsiders. But it's not Nash coming out, it's Vince Russo! The co-head of creative, Vince Russo, is out to address what the fuck just happened. I really like he tries to talk and then the crowd boo, and so he kind of stops and laments, does his infamous shot of him slouching on the top rope, head down.
Real life here, fans.
From day one that I've been in WCW, I've done nothing but deal with the bullshit of the politics behind that curtain.
Actually, what do you have for this?
He basically comes out and says that he left WCW 3 weeks ago. I was like, mate, you did not give us a long enough break at all because of all the bullshit politics in the back. He said that he has a wife and 3 kids and doesn't need this shit.
I don't think you're a big enough star to start bitching about your wife and family. Like, you should at least be a performer. Do you know what I mean?
But it's weird because I would imagine that because of the job he has, he actually would see less of his family because he's there on a Tuesday and a Wednesday writing and rewriting and scripting and all that stuff. So maybe he does actually have it worse. He said that he came back for the guys in the locker room that bust their ass for WCW. The Booker T's.
Yes.
The Misfits.
No.
The Filthy Animals.
Yeah, some of them.
The Jarrett.
Yes.
And the guys that give a shit. He says Hulk Hogan doesn't give a shit. Hogan wants to play his creative control card, and that cost him an entire day doing politics. Boo fucking an entire day.
Yeah.
You were there anyway, mate. And he said, and that's why he beat Jarrett. He says he gave Hogan his wish. He has his belt and he can go home. Promises that you'll never see him again. He didn't lie. Says he knows that the fans paid good money for their tickets.
No, they didn't.
As I say, that also sounds like a lie. And he won't let them go home ripped off. He calls the belt Hogan has the Hogan Memorial Belt. It doesn't mean shit. He says tonight there'll be a new WCW belt. Jarrett and Booker T are going to fight for it. Says Booker has been busting his ass for 14 years and can't catch a break here because of Hulk Hogan. Calls Hogan a big, bald son of a bitch and he can kiss his ass.
Can you do that in the first person?
And Hogan, you big, bald son of a bitch, you can kiss my ass.
He doesn't do the Eddie Guerrero, you know, the mwah,
kissy bum
the
bum.
smacky bum bums.
Hulk Hogan, you can kissy bum bum, bro. I love it.
Jarrett and Booker will compete for the WCW and they'll tear this goddamn house down. And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass.
Okay, what are you thinking? What's on your mind watching this?
What I'm thinking is, and I'll begin with a question. Is anyone in the business that we call wrestling trying to pretend that this was a shoot or that they weren't in on it?
Well, yes.
Really?
Yeah, Hogan sued WCW over it.
Oh my God. What about Bischoff? I assume Bischoff is,
He doesn't
didn't know anything what was going on.
I'll actually, I can
you want
tell
to
you
run
about
through that?
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that...
Did you think the whole thing just stinks of work?
100% work.
Oh.
Why the fuck was this match on? It's not quite the middle of the card. So the final match, according to this original card, and I use the term loosely, was Nashi versus Goldberg. Why wouldn't you have the world title match on last? One thing that just gave the game away straight away. So Jarrett lies down in the ring and Hogan starts mugging at the crowd and he catches himself and stops. He's working. And then he realizes he's not supposed to be working. And then he kind of looks confused and pins him, grabs the mic, whatever. But you'll catch him kind of doing the, the head turning left, right, looking at the crowd. He knows he's in on it, 100%. Then the commentators are obviously in on it as well, because then they start shooting about how they have production meetings and that this isn't a swerve, we were swerved, this is real. Essentially, they wouldn't be saying that if they didn't know what was going on. Of course, they fucking knew what was going on.
Well, production meetings would exist because it's a TV show. Do you know?
There's no way the commentators would have reacted that quickly and said what they said unless they knew what they were going to say.
Do you think they were too composed for it?
Yes, and then they also said we were swerved. There's no fucking way you would have said
like
that.
Russo wrote that.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, there are swerves and there are swerves. We've all been swerved.
So that's why I wanted clarification on what actually is being said from the different wrestlers and people involved, because clearly this is a work.
Excellent. Well, Stephen. Okay, so Bash at the Beach, this moment in time, is probably the most famous WCW moment in history. So it's been covered by a lot of different people and outlets and stuff. So let's go straight to the source, the only reliable piece of information, and that is WCW Magazine.
Yay!
Okay, a nice write-up on page 36.
Page 36. It's the page everyone dreams to be on.
A political power struggle behind the scenes was played out in front of the world at Bash at the Beach, resulting in a new WCW World Heavyweight Champion and perhaps a bitter farewell to sports entertainment's greatest icon. The scheduled Jeff Jarrett vs. Hollywood Hogan match deteriorated into nothing but Jarrett intentionally laying down and allowing Hogan to cover him, while WCW creative director Vince Russo disgustedly threw the title belt into the ring. Later in the show, an obviously distraught Russo, who had returned after a 3-week sabbatical, went to the ring and explained to the confused crowd what had transpired. Russo said Hogan had evoked the creative control clause in his contract, and to appease Hogan, Russo decided to have Jarrett purposely lose the match. Russo went on to say the belt Hogan left the building with was the Hulk Hogan Memorial title, and that Jeff still was the rightful champion. Russo then announced that Jarrett would defend the title later that night against Booker T.
Yeah. So a very cordial, factual, the editor cannot get in trouble recounting of tonight's fiasco.
Somebody came to the dressing room or the trailer outside and told me what they wanted for a finish. I said, no, just tell Jarrett we'll get together and have a hell of a match. I'm going to drop the leg on him. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so this is one of the most talked about moments in WCW history. Who were the main players? Russo and Bischoff were running creative. Jarrett and Hogan were in the match. Jarrett's the world champion and Hulk has creative control. I am chock full of Bash at the Beach. I've listened to shoot interviews from all 4. So if you've heard them say something different than what I say, it means they've changed their story and disregard them completely. So Bischoff, Jarrett, Russo, Hogan. Bischoff, RF Video 2014, says it was all good until Russo's shoot. He starts off by prefacing that his dad had just died and so he was going to be late to the arena, and when he got there a few hours late, they had already started without him, so he's like, He does explain that what happens on TV is decided by Russo and Bischoff, and if there's an impasse, they go to Brad Siegel. He decides it. He is the AOL Time Warner exec in charge of WCW. So they both go to him. Russo lays out his idea, Bischoff lays out his. And Siegel just says, let's go with Bischoff. He'll always say, let's go with Bischoff, because Bischoff's with Hogan. Hogan has creative control. So the plan is to have Hogan leave with the belt and then return at Halloween Havoc and face whoever is champion. The first part goes off without a hitch.
Yep.
Hogan and Bischoff leave and get into their plane, and by the time they land, their phone is blowing up over what happened, what Russo said.
By the time we landed, our phones were blowing up because Russo grabbed the microphone and went into business for himself.
Like, why do they have to leave? That's like, we're working the boys, yeah? They're idiots.
Maybe it's I don't want to hang around. I want to go home.
Yeah, he's the president of the fucking company. He's in charge
of creative. I want to go home, though.
Like,
he's not at this point. Bischoff has no power.
They're
at this
working
point,
the boys.
No, Bischoff and Russo were in charge of creative.
Yeah, he was brought back and they're like 50-50. And
okay, 50.
According to Russo and Siegel, Eric was actually in charge because he was keeping tabs on Vince.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just clarify something? So the initial incident in the ring
is a work, and everyone agrees it was a work and part of the plan.
Yeah. Well, the issue is when Russo comes back out. Is that the issue?
Yes, according to Bischoff. But if I can just go through the rest and then you can, because everyone has a slightly different answer. Jeff Jarrett in 2021. Oh, what have you got to say? Dodges the question. Glosses over the Hogan deal to say, I hated going back out there a half hour later to wrestle Booker. Crowd don't want to see me. This is Hogan country. They hate Jeff Jarrett. Conrad presses him, but the best you get out of Jarrett is that he knew Russo was going to do a out with the old, in with the new shoot promo and to set up the title match with Booker T. And he's like, have you got any more to say about it? And he's like, the whole thing was crazy. It was insanity. And it was, he's so slippery, very non-committal. talks without saying anything. Jarrett, you should be a politician. Fucking hell.
He tells a bit more on the dark side of the ring.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Why would Russo feel the need in interviews all these years later to say, hey, it was a work?
Yeah, thank you. Oh, but me and Booker's match was real, right? He really won the world. I mean, just the whole thing is just insanity.
Russo, timeline of WCW 2000 from back in 2013. The entire thing was an agreed upon work. My mistake happened the next day. The week of the pay-per-view, this is out of Russo's mouth, everyone on the creative team and all the underlings, they all want Booker to win the belt. By Friday, 2 days before the pay-per-view, everyone, including Hogan, is agreed upon the plan. Hogan looks like King Kong battering Jarrett, but loses, and we end the night with Booker being champion. Fast forward to Sunday, a few hours before the pay-per-view, Hogan says, I'm not doing it. This don't work for me, brother. And I'm winning. And Hogan's like, I told you this already. I sent you a fax on Friday after hours at work to the office after everyone went home. Hogan's reasoning was, if it was a shoot, I'd win and I'd leave with the belt.
So this is Russo's story.
Yes. Russo counters when he's talking with Hogan. Well, if it was real, and thinking on the fly, pitches to Hulk what ends up happening on the night. Jarrett lays down, fought on Jarrett, getting shoot promos from both Hulk and Russo. Hulk loved the idea of having a belt, Booker having a belt, and yeah, we could do something with that down the line. What happens on the pay-per-view happens. Russo's elated, goes backstage, starts working the boys, telling Jimmy Hart, hey, what do you think was going to happen? And even more overjoyed that he's worked the internet. They bought it hook, line and sinker. And they're saying, yeah, Russo finally put Hogan in his place. Now, I mentioned his mistake was the next day. Russo says his one mistake was not calling Hulk the next day, as he said he would. He claims he was on the blower to executive Brad Siegel, who told him, we can't afford to bring Hogan to TV, so don't call him. But before he could talk to Hulk, Hogan filed a lawsuit. Why? Why does Russo think this? He blames Hogan was getting worked by the internet chatter, and Russo finally put him in his place, i.e. the work became a shoot. So he thought, oh, he did put me in my place. I'll get you.
Ooh, Hogan is annoyed.
Yeah, he thinks Russo did get one over on him, and now he's annoyed about it. Does that make any sense?
Not really.
No, it really doesn't.
But anyway, his main thing is the whole thing was a work, and it's just because I didn't ring him the next day to confirm, hey, how are you getting on? So it's all good.
Right, so Russo is claiming that the entire night was a work.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
And talk to Hogan, and I get the old, this doesn't work for me, brother. Okay? So I'm like, okay, Hulk, what works for you?
I don't remember if Russo and I ever had a conversation that day.
And finally, Hulk Hogan. His main thing, the title match went off script. That wasn't what was supposed to happen in the ring. Hogan was supposed to win because Russo couldn't think of a finish. Okay, so this is actually the day afterwards. He was on Bubba the Love Sponge radio show in 2000. So it is the freshest and hopefully the most truthful from Hulk Hogan. Refers to Jeff Jarrett as what's his name. This is the day after the show, you know? The plan for Bash at the Beach was very different. It'll be a run-in finish where Russo, Steiner and co interfere, but Hogan wins the match by DQ. His head is held high and hand raised in victory. And
that doesn't line up with anyone else's
Yeah.
story, and the other ones line up. He's out to lunch.
But he's like, but Russo, I'm happy to lose to Jarrett clean in the ring. Sure, I can leave WCW, but Brad Siegel says, no, don't leave. Please stay. I don't want you going to Fox. Reiterates, I do jobs. I laid down for Sting at Halloween Havoc and Kidman in a 2-on-1 bout. Still counts, checked it up. And I had a look at his win-loss record. He did job to The Wall. He jobbed to Mike Awesome and to Vampiro, all within the last 9 months prior to Bash at the Beach. Of course, that's very heavily weighted if you're just looking at strict win-loss and not the circumstances of it. Anyway, he says, I'll do whatever, Russo, but I just need to know what you'll do with me. Like, in general, creatively, because he was saying the FU New Blood thing, that was terrible, I don't want to do it. Like, I'm done with doing it, you know? But Russo can't think of anything, so call Brad Siegel, I'm taking the belt. He can do this because of his creative control. Hogan spells out what creative control exactly means. He has the body, the content, and the final finish of all of his matches. He waves off having creative control in the first place in his contract as insurance, in case Stephanie McMahon's 6-year-old daughter gave me a bad finish.
You know, this business is the money, the miles, and number one, yourself. And, you know, all of a sudden I'm in a bad position here, and I got that creative clause in my contract just in case somebody like Stephanie McMahon's 6-year-old daughter gave me a bad finish. You know, I could at least cover myself, you know.
Right.
Like, he has got WWF on the brain as he puts over heel owner Vince doing mega numbers in the Fed, thinking about his 99 run, you know, and muses he should have gone to Vince, like, you know, off camera, handing him the WCW belt out of respect for Vince. Or better yet, and he just starts going off with Bubba Love Sponge, get Nick Hogan to go on WWF TV and dress someone up like Russo with the hat and the New York top.
Oh
and
my God.
beat him up. Amazing. Anyway, final tidbit, during the Jarrett match itself, he thought it was a rib. They were supposed to have an epic match with run-ins and DQ win. And when he was just talking to Jarrett in the ring, he was, oh, what's going on? And Jarrett was like, I got to do what I got to do for my family. And he was like, well, you're one of the boys. Come on, us versus the office, you know? And I was like, oh, mate. Also, Hogan was still backstage during the Russo shoot, said he was waiting for Russo to come backstage, but was rushed out of the arena by head of security Doug Dillinger. And so that's the end of what he was saying. It was like, overall, he's a very articulate and convincing liar. When you're talking to him, everything he says makes sense. It's just that none of it's true.
Yeah.
But he has a very kind of laid back conviction, even if it's absolute bollocks. I love how he recalls things as well, because he'd be like, oh yeah, so Johnny Ace came up to me and said, are you okay, brother? Does he think everyone talks like that in his head? You know?
Are you okay, brother? To be fair, it is the wrestling business, and they might.
Yes. Just FYI, Hulk's lawsuit to WCW ends up getting thrown out as Russo's shoot only mentions the fictional character Hulk Hogan.
You can't slander a character.
Exactly. The trial court correctly concluded that the allegedly defamatory speech could not be understood as stating actual facts about Terry Bollea. Also, WCW countersued Hogan because he no-showed Greed, WCW's last pay-per-view.
Well, I'm trying to get out of my contract with these guys, and Brad Siegel's real snug about not letting me out of the contract, but that's all I got to say.
All right, buddy.
So, okay. So, what do you think about all that?
Well, obviously, we're disregarding what Hogan said.
We completely have to.
I don't mind jobbing. Noted jobber, Hulk Hogan.
It's just white noise. It's completely irrelevant. So, in my mind, from what I've heard, and Steve said Jarrett had a bit more to say, but right now, you've got Russo's story and Bischoff's story. They're both similar, but they only branch off in the second part, which is Russo going to the ring.
Yeah.
So it's whether you believe that the second part, Russo going to the ring on his own to cut a promo on Hogan, was a shoot or a work. That's the decision to be made here. And if I had to guess, I would say that was a work. But I have no evidence to back that up.
I would say that they probably went over, oh yeah, Hogan, I'm going to go out there and bury you. And he said, yeah, okay, fair enough. But I didn't give you the script of what I'm going to say. And I also think he was just trying to get a payday out of WCW with the lawsuit. I don't think he honestly believed he called me bald.
Because like I had always heard that this was a work until Russo called Hogan bald. And Hogan, you know, famously bald man, gets weird about being bald. And that triggered something and he snapped. Whether that's the real side of it or not, who knows? Like, I will say from everything that I've watched about it, I would not believe a word out of Russo's mouth. Like, I don't believe Hogan. Jarrett, like, also noted worker and politician and carny, you know what I mean?
Noted carny.
Eric Bischoff, also, you know, a liar.
Yeah.
You
like,
know
you
what I
listen
mean?
to his book, it's like he takes no blame for anything.
I hated his book. Everything that's great was him. Everything that was terrible had nothing to do with him.
But that's not just his book. That's every time he opens his mouth.
Yeah. So, like, this is a fatal four-way full of four people who are full of absolute shit. And, like, maybe the truth is buried in somewhere in the middle. But, I did go and watch Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
and I said, Hulk, you're not walking out of here the WCW champion. That is not happening.
What's Jeff doing?
Did I know that Hulk Hogan was going to take legal action? How could you not?
Season 4, episode 9, the episode on Bash at the Beach, opens up with Vince Russo looking in the camera dead-eye and saying, I despise the wrestling business.
Yeah. Fair play.
It's only how I only make my living.
Yeah,
I hate it so much.
And then he goes on to talk about his mentality when it comes to booking, which is, yeah, bro, I'm writing the show knowing that the fans have a remote control in their hand. And I don't want to give them a second that they can get bored or any reason to change the channel.
I can absolutely believe that.
So that's why there's never a second of something not happening on my shows. And he actually admits it's car crash TV. He doesn't have long-term plans, storylines, which also leads me to doubt his side of the thing that this is all a work and he's got a long-term plan, because he's a man who admits to not having a long-term plan.
You are not giving that viewer the opportunity to, let's see what's on Nitro. That's Crash TV.
Then Bischoff comes on and says that Russo's vision didn't matter anyway, because Hulk Hogan had creative control over everything to do with his character, also with wins and losses in any match that he had. So no matter what storyline Russo thinks he has in his head, if it's regarding Hulk Hogan, it's not his, because Hogan gets to book what Hogan wants to book. Okay? I was just like, if that's all true, why is he even booking Hogan? Why is he even introducing the chance for this issue to take place? Russo claims that Bischoff had no creative clout. And then Bischoff is saying, no, I was brought back to secretly be over him. And I answered to Brad Siegel, and Brad Siegel told me that I had to get Vince Russo to answer to me. It's all spin, you know? But yeah, like if Russo claimed that he was the head of creative, and if he wanted to put the belt on Booker T, just book Booker T versus Jarrett. You know what I mean? You could have done what you wanted to do, mate. Jarrett actually has a great point. All right. He says that a wrestler who doesn't have an owning stake in a company should never have creative control. But he's like, but you know, if you own the company, it's fucking brilliant.
A man who bested Triple H at the Reign of Terror.
Yeah.
That was early DNA days.
Are they worried about their bottom line, or are they worried about the company's bottom line? It's radically different.
Russo then talks about the original plan, which Hogan supposedly was okay with, and then he wasn't. And then he said that he was fine with the rewrite, which kept Hogan really, really strong. He would keep the title, and he would go away for a few months and then come back and still be featured as the top guy in the top angle. I was like, that all works, you know? Then they talk about Eric's new plan, you know, which is the tournament, and then, you know, Booker T would win and Hogan would come back. And I think that makes sense.
That aligns with what he said over a decade ago.
Yeah. Jarrett says that he sided with Russo. He said that he thought Russo's plan made sense. He was one of the boys who was sick of the shoot millionaire club. Like your Nashes, your Hogans, who had the company by the balls, and they had done what they wanted for 4 years, and the company was in the worst shape it had ever been in. And he felt that Russo was right in thinking that they needed a shake-up and they needed new blood on top. And he agreed that him and Booker were the guys. Okay, so
I agree. I think I should win.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. So then Russo claims that everybody knew exactly what was going to happen, and it happened exactly like it was planned. And then they just immediately fire back with Eric going, no, that's complete lies. So it's just he said, she said. Then they play a recording of Hulk Hogan calling the radio show, which I'm guessing was the Bubba the Love Sponge that you talk about. And based off that like minute clip, it completely sounded like work. Just the way Hogan talked. It just sounded like he was in on this completely.
He is a very stupid man, but now I'm really pissed off.
Yeah, and then they talk about the Hogan lawsuit for defamation, with then the court ruling and everything. Then WCW eventually settled with Hogan for an undisclosed amount.
Which is a bold-faced lie.
Yeah, complete lies. And the show ends with Jeff Jarrett, okay? And he says that he thinks that people don't give Hulk Hogan credit. He says he's incredibly smart. And he says that wrestling is full of people who play checkers, and Hulk Hogan is a chess master. And he fully believes Hogan saw that the ship was sinking and he just wanted out, and he saw a chance that he could get out of his contract and also get a nice payday, which is what he did. And he thinks that at the end of the day, Hulk Hogan wins, like Hulk Hogan always wins.
Yeah, fair enough. That's actually, in general, that sounds a great summation.
Yeah.
Some folks play chess while others are playing checkers. The night at Bash at the beach, Hulk decided to start playing chess, and he had the patience, and he cashed out.
Excellent.
It was a decent show. I don't believe a word out of Vince Russo's mouth. I think he's full of shit.
Joe, the only thing I don't like is that it's talking heads one person at a time and edit to make it sound like a conversation.
Yeah.
Just get Russo and Bischoff, Hogan and Jarrett in the same round table.
Yeah.
And talk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had no idea how big it was going to be. I didn't know what the NWO was about to become.
Just, I've got like 3 lines here. I also watched the 3rd episode of the What Killed WCW series. That was a 4-episode series. It's hilarious. This is just a burial of Vince Russo. It's a 40-minute burial. Everyone just talking about he's an idiot. He's stupid. He doesn't know what he's doing. He killed the company twice. This was from 2024. Russo still holds that his promo on Hogan was a complete work that everybody knew about. Everyone knew that he was shooting. So he's never wavered on that. And it ends with Booker T saying that he felt that he was the guy who should have led the charge. He thinks that race played a part in it. That is the reason that they never chose him. And then he said that he only found out about the match with Jarrett 10 minutes before it happens, which I think is a insane lie.
Yeah, that is absolute bullshit.
That's complete quackery, Booker T. What are you talking about, mate?
Do you mean like Jarrett told him right before he went out for the Hogan match? Like, because there was still half an hour.
No, I think it's like...
I called it on the fly. I called it in the ring.
I called it in the ring.
Which is just horse shit.
Yeah.
I found out about 10 minutes before I had to wrestle.
OC, final verdict about to shoot?
Well, yeah, I think whatever Russo had specifically said in that promo, as you said earlier, it triggered Hogan.
Yeah.
And that's when things took a dark turn. But up to that point, everything was all good.
Yeah, that sounds pretty great. Just on Russo's promo in WCW, just incredible promo. Fixated, glued to my TV screen watching it.
He's a great character.
Listening intently at every word. It's like, this is the nuclear option. You can never do this again. Like, I am glad it didn't finish tonight. Like, we go back to wrestling. But I don't know how you can come back from such a public disgrace. You know, people are, he's such a huge mark for outside attention. And it's like, you will get it. But you could do that if you, stabbed 8 people in the crowd as well. It doesn't mean it's a good idea. And you'll get a page 36 write-up on WCW Magazine. Like, for the short-term gain versus the long-term irreparable damage. Like, this is what WCW is known as. This is the legacy of WCW.
Like, I do think that the end of WCW, we had reached a point where there was no going back before this night. Like, I don't think there was anything saving them in, July of 2000. I think it was only a matter of time. But this definitely fucking hastened it.
Yeah, it's one of the WCW highlights, lowlights, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's other things, like the finger poke of doom was always brought up. Bash at the Beach 96, Sting winning the world title. It's not like this is...
Reset show.
Yeah, this incident is just one of many that defines WCW. It's not the only one.
Yeah.
So it's... The whole thing is a clown car, and they're like, this is just one of the clowns.
Yeah.
They come out.
Yeah.
Here's a quick montage of what other wrestlers have had to say. I'll just throw it up on screen. Then I was like, where's Kevin Nash to come out and say the entire wrestling business is a work? The only thing real is the money. Anyway, that's it. Kevin Nash, we need you now more than ever.
We need you more than ever, sir.
We have seen a man pour his heart out.
This is great. If Russo was a woman, I'd marry him.
And we go back to wrestling. Oh my God, after you've just decimated the entire landscape of your company. You've ruined it. But here we go. It is Goldberg versus Kevin Nash for Scott Hall's WCW contract.
I've carried this damn company on my back for 2 years. I've given you people someone to believe in. I gave you people a hero. And what did you do? You spit on it.
Heel Goldberg? Yeah, it happened last month at the Great American Bash, siding with Russo and Bischoff. Billed, no pun intended, as something so shocking Vince McMahon couldn't stop. What? Heel Goldberg. An intriguing idea, but he didn't have his heart in it. I'm sure plummeting merch sales from being a heel didn't help. Plus, he's not really a talker, so you fans turned on me. It didn't light the world on fire.
Like, it was a swerve thing. Like, it wasn't built, it wasn't earned either, you know?
And he was only on top, a main event babyface for a couple of years. There was legs in this, more merchandise to sell. People complained about Cena, but he's been a main event babyface for 20 fucking years.
Yeah.
Like, Goldberg needed another couple of years, and then we'll see about a heel turn.
The kayfabe is the outsiders are trying to undermine and destroy WCW, which is actually true. So their blood is on your hands, fans. Nash hollers at Scott Steiner. He looks like he's taking a piss.
Pissy window, lads.
Yeah! Pissy windows. Get your head in the game.
It's for Scott's contract, man. Come on, get in the game, all right?
Goldberg's out to Invasion. Contract tucked into his jocks. I love it. Oddly, he ate it a few weeks ago. And he got it reprinted. So he can just do that. No one tell WCW and Kevin Nash you can just do that. It's symbolic, I guess. Symbolics, I guess.
Yes.
This is Godzilla versus Megalon, the Titanic versus the iceberg. This is an incredible matchup.
Haas force Nash into the corner and mauling blows to kick off. Nash with some receipts. Matt Goldberg is a huge guy, but Nash is even bigger. My God. After Goldberg spits, he shouts, "Fuck you!" to the crowd. Obviously flipped on the network. Restored on OSW.
The 7-foot, 325-pound...
Big choke slam to Goldberg, who starts kicking out at one. Thanks, Clint. That's Scott's cue to come out. Steiner, not Hall. And try rally Nashy with the contract. What is the likelihood of Steiner swerving Nash?
We're at we're like 3 for 3 tonight. What are the chances, Vince Russo?
Steiner clubs Nash, bungles him so Goldberg can hit a spear. Jackhammer. 1, 2, 3, and Goldberg wins.
1, 2, 3. It's over. It's over.
Kevin Nash was already unconscious.
And Scott Hall's career is... You see, Bill is like, he's got it, and he's like... And he was like... the kind of waxy cardboard that they have...
Laminated, yeah.
It's not
imagine if they laminated it on them.
That would be hilarious.
What a rip.
Nash. And he does get the 3 pages eventually. Boys must have ripped him rotten backstage.
Yeah.
As opposed to cut to Rick Rude trying to rip a phone book in ECW. He's just... And he's like, whoa. Anyway, splicey.
I got to get it in the middle.
What you do in that situation, though, drop it on the ground and stomp it.
Yeah.
That does the job.
So what was... Sorry, what do you think of this match?
It was heated. The match was shit. It was like 4 minutes long. Interference, swerve, finish again. Yeah. Jesus Christ. 1 show and I'm done with WCW.
I didn't think the match was great. It was 4 minutes long. Really enjoyed it. Again, Goldberg, lads. I just don't know if we've seen a bad Goldberg match.
I think if you're going to ruin the match anyway, you might as well get it over with. You know?
Yeah.
So they just do the milestones of the match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there
Happy
was
enough.
policy
Bullet points,
interference, but as far as like the wrestling, it was pretty good. I was very
Nash
happy.
is like immobile. He's worse in 2000 than he was in 2009 in TNA.
Yeah, but he's still Goldberg does a nice
He's wobbly
little
on his feet, like-
trippy whippy, and then he does a soupy whoopy plexi wexy, and it's all happening in there.
So what is the ska with Scott Hall at the time? So
He was already gone, surely, right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
official, but WCW don't want him back. In October, he reformed the Outsiders with Nash. In December, WCW tried to squeeze blood from a stone one last time with their final incarnation of the NWO.
2000?
Yes, NWO 2000, the silver and black. Hall, Nash, Brett, Jarrett, Steiner. In January, Brett got injured. In February, Scott Hall was fired. That's that then. Why did Hall get fired? Too expensive, too unreliable, and there was an incident on a European trip, that's WCW's Millennium Tour 2000 in Germany. He cheated on his girlfriend, which was Brad Siegel's niece.
Aye.
And there was a big fight, big hoopla, and Brad Siegel was like, Scott, get the fuck out. And then Nash tried his hardest to get him back in, get him to budge, but no.
Although that type of stuff shouldn't play into contracts. Like, I know he's
Dating is different. Yeah.
sticking up for his family and everything, but that stuff shouldn't matter when it comes. Like, there's plenty of other reasons to fire him before he's cheating on his niece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, Scott turned up in WWF in 2002 as part of the NWO. But did you know, after WCW, Razor showed up in ECW? 3 matches, wasn't welcome because the ECW locker room didn't want him there, despite Justin Credible inviting him like Bammer. But the biggest one, who would be the biggest bitter man in ECW locker room?
Gotta be Douglas.
Oh, yeah. He was
And for good reason.
Yeah.
He was still bitter about the Click's treatment of him in the WWF. If you remember, In Your House 4, OSW 126, Razor steamrolled him, and that was the end of it. And then afterwards, Sean on commentary called Douglas overrated and undeserving.
Wrestlers you're all a pack of bitches. All of you. Even the nice ones, still bitches.
Anyway, Razor had 3 shows in ECW anyway, hop, skip and a jump. He used Ready or Not as a theme song. Ready or not, here I come. You can have your bag of stuff.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
So how many matches has that been?
They were on 11.
That was 10. We've got one more to go.
Oh, okay. So 10 matches down, 1 match left, because it's time for your, again, main event.
I'm delirious.
It's time for your main event.
That's what WCW does to my brain.
It's silly. It's a silly place.
Jeff Jarrett versus Booker T to crown a new WCW champion. Booker T, 0-time WCW champion, tap the nose, has the biggest opportunity of his life. Opportunity is knocked, and I'd be a damn fool if I didn't answer. I'm going to take this company into the new millennium. Love it, Buck.
You're already in it, Booker.
Bollocks.
We're 6 months in. It's
Maybe
7
December
months into
2000?
it, mate.
Hold on.
December 2000?
The new millennium only starts in January 1st, 2001.
Ooh.
Am I,
is that
it?
Some kind of, yeah.
I think so.
Maybe he's going off Chinese New Year, you know?
Yes, that has to be it.
Booker T's out first. I love his theme song, by the way.
It's great. And he's always had it. And it's still awesome after 30 years.
Did you know his song that yes. No. That's the best bit. But only the yes and no is from Sex Object by Kraftwerk. Yes. No. Jarrett comes out with the WCW title. The new title belt looks exactly the same as the old one.
Man, I really wish they didn't have Jarrett come back out as champion. Like, this is a match for the new belt, the new title. It's obviously the same belt, but a new title.
Because Jarrett is not the current champion, is he? Or
I think Russo did say
you're giving it back to undo that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I don't like it
because he's fucking dumb.
Yeah. Actually, this belt is the real one, as the top of it is bent, which happened sometime during Macho's reign in 95.
Okay.
The belt Hogan left with was a cast replica by AFX Studios made by Andre Freitas.
Okay.
And, I was like, oh my God, that's so clever. Here's a garbage replica. You can scoot off with that.
There's no way Hogan wouldn't notice.
I don't know. It's a nice replica. It doesn't have the bendy. And he's like, oh, thank God they fixed it or something. Anyway, kick off with a collar and elbow tie-up with Booker T with a head scissors and wins the exchange. Madden starts laying into Hulk on commentary. I guess Hogan should punch out Ted Turner now. Jarrett's yet to be tested unless you count laying down for Hollywood scum Hogan. More exchanges as Madden gives a good gem of insight. Everyone wrestles technically until they don't. As in, yes, I hope what he's saying is, yes, most matches are pretty much have a couple of spots of straight wrestling and then it devolves into a fist fight.
Yep.
Which is
fine.
Yeah. They brawl into the crowd, kick open one of the arena doors where fans, beer in hand, are like, whoa! Jarrett and Buck work their way to a pile driver on the announce table. Jarrett hits it. Doesn't buckle. I am the table. Nice betweentheropes.com sign. Yeah. Vito DiNucci, we're coming for you. Madden exclaims, "This is athleticism," as Jarrett enters minute 2 of his headlock.
Oh my God, there was like, in the middle of this match, was like, Jarrett grabs a headlock for ages, then Booker fights out, he gets put into a second headlock, then Booker fights out and puts on his own headlock, and then they get out again, and Jarrett takes him down to the mat with a headlock, and I was like, oh my God, my will to live is being eroded.
I just want to point out that Crush earlier in the night was put in a headlock and the crowd went crazy for it.
Yeah.
To talk about the size of Palumbo, he's got the sleeper.
So there you go, main event Crush.
Raw.
Flair figure 4 and the crowd rally behind Buck to reverse. And he does. Jarrett, the pressure now on his legs, reaches for a rope break. Time for the world title finish. Spin-a-rooney. Big time Arn Anderson spinebuster. Near fall. Irish whip reversal. Ref bump. No. Jarrett brings the belt in. Nope. Booker's got the belt. Smashes him. 1, 2. No.
Thank God.
Can we get a whoa, bro?
Whoa, whoa!
By Jarrett. Wedges a chair into the corner, but gets rammed into it. He who sets it up must go through it. Jarrett hits referee Billy Silverman with the stroke.
The bump he took. Oh my God, that's so funny.
What was it like?
He went like, whoa, and then fell forward.
Away 5-0.
It was brilliant.
Love it.
What? Wait, he's gonna hit the stroke.
That seems somewhat accidental.
Can we get another whoa, whoa?
Whoa, whoa!
To Booker. Got the guitar for a super dime drawer. Catches him. Bookend. New referee Slick Johnson in. And 1, 2, 3. Booker T is the new WCW World Heavyweight Champion for the first time. First of 5-time WCW Champion.
Booker doesn't see Jarrett. No!
Booker T's the world champion! Booker T's the champ!
I can't believe it!
And our horror show of a night ends with a historic win as Booker T becomes the first black world champion since Ron Simmons, with the crowd and the booking team firmly behind them. Until next month anyway, but that's ages away. Congratulations, Buck.
We love bringing you Bash at the Beach. There's never been anything like it ever. Good night.
What do you think, man?
Man, when is the last time you could say that the best match on a WCW pay-per-view was the main event? Because, like, it's very rare. There was a little bit of the wee-woo booking on it, but I didn't think this was like terribly overbooked for the most part. I thought this was like a good old school high heat heel versus babyface match with the babyface making comebacks and eventually getting the win. I enjoyed it. Two good wrestlers.
What do you think?
I thought it was a solid TV match. You know, Booker had already wrestled earlier in the night, so yeah, it did the job. But if you had bought the pay-per-view on the basis of this match and this was what they delivered, you'd be really annoyed. It was just solid.
Oh, okay. Is there any moves or bits did you like? Did you like the kind of pile driver on the table, maybe?
Yeah.
Did you like headlock number 4?
Not as good as 3, but better than the 5.
I enjoyed this quite a lot. I'm trying to use a word that isn't swerve, but like trying to reset your brain back to wrestling after what happened with Russo.
It's very hard.
Can't do it, you know? Overall, very easy to enjoy. Like, I enjoyed watching this WCW pay-per-view. I think Russo, captivating speaker. It's just a shame they hate clean finishes. Like, the roster's really good. It's just the frequency of swerves on the card and per person.
And it's like, as damaging as it was, the Russo stuff, in my opinion, was the only really good stuff on the show, just from a pure entertainment point of view, not talking about the damage that it did or the repercussions it would have going forward. But yeah, this is a stinking show, but but one that you should watch because it's historically so important. But awful.
I thought you were going to say it's historically embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't think there was enough crap or shite or silly stuff. There was a little bit, but
yeah, like graveyard.
Yeah, that was fine. But I there wasn't enough good and there wasn't enough bad. There was far too much mediocre. I mean, if you had, say, a really solid Mysterio against Guerrero match, not that that was possible at this point in time, but you know what I'm getting at. A really good, sink your teeth into a cruiserweight match to kick things off. The Russo stuff obviously was great, and I mean, it's notable. It's not talked about for nothing. Of course it's Car Crash TV, but we're captivated by it. Everyone still is, fucking 25 years later. I mean, everyone's seen the Hogan, Jarrett and Russo stuff already, but if you haven't, go watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty great, I have to say.
Last night at Bash at the Beach, Booker T realized a lifelong dream when he defeated Jeff Jarrett to become the new WCW World Champion.
Just on Nitro to cap off Booker T, Tenay does a voiceover vignette putting over Booker T really hard, how successful he's been, 10-time tag champ, multi-time US champ, and being world champion was only a matter of time, and he's realised his dream. Book in the ring has a quick aside saying he only has one regret, that his mom isn't alive to see him win it, which is so lovely. He stops and looks to the heavens.
I only have one regret after winning this world title, and that's my mother's not here to see it. Mother, I miss you, and I wish you was here.
Booker parlays it into starting a feud with Goldberg, and
he called him a mark for himself. What?
I'm gonna spell it out for you. M-A-R-K. You a mark for yourself, and you a mark for the business. These people right here in this arena made you what you are today.
Wow. Booker called Goldberg a mark for himself.
Jesus.
Which, like, there might be some truth to it, but like...
You don't say it.
Exactly. Come up with a storyline reason to feud, yeah?
And we see a great sign in the crowd. It says $1 million bill, Soldberg. It's pretty good, And then Booker T brings his wife, Lavestia, into the ring.
I was like, excuse me? Then I went to the Google box and I was like, oh, he didn't get married to Charmel until like 2005.
Yes. And so it is a lovely...
Solid upgrade.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like Charmel's definitely second wife business,
Okay.
I don't know how to nicely say that, but yeah, it's weird because it's like, let's have this lovely family moment with this woman who's no longer... It's like, when Taker wins the belt and, he's beating Hulk Hogan, and then Undertaker opens up a casket and is it Sarah? Because Sarah comes out and it's like, hey, how's it going? Wow, we'll be together forever. Embarrassing.
Kizzy bum bum.
But a lovely moment to cap off a milestone win.
Every night that he left, she was alone at home.
And in closing, in 2000.
And then he had his nice moment with his brother who comes out to the ring, and they had been feuding, but he squashes the beef. He says that, I remember when you were born. I remember pushing you in your tricycle.
I remember when you blinked.
He talked about sleeping in the same bed as kids because they were poor, lending him his car to go out on his first date. And he just says, I'm proud of you. And they hug. And I was like, that is a genuinely nice moment in WCW. Were there any nice moments in this company? There was no swerve.
There's that time Hogan left. That's pretty good.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
I wanna live,
laugh, love and survive.
I wanna live, laugh, love and survive. Come on.
Right, wrap it up here.
Yeah, no, that's I'm just fucking around with you.
I know that.
So, what'd you think of that one, OSE?
In the books, my friend. BATB 2K.
You've been pushing that all week.
Yeah, and let it go out into the internet now and spread its wings.
Oh, what do you think?
Man, regardless of whether the show was great or terrible, it's always so much fun shooting the shit. But the show is shit.
Well done, lads. And so it's a goodbye from OSE.
We do.
V1.
Pegaboo.
We will see you for a new arc next time. Wait for the trailer. It's going to be amazing. And your boy Jay Hunter. And remember, a winner is you.